Hey nail family, I know it's late, but I like being up late. Y'all know me. Give me 1 second so I can share my live, because y'all don't share it, even though I beg y'all to. You guys never share my live, so I'm just gonna rely on myself since nobody loves me. Okay, so I have been doing Met Gala nails. I've been listening, just sitting here listening to my gospel music and just doing nails or whatever, right? Just designing. I gotta do a fill on myself because I wanted to design my nails, but I keep taking the polish on and off, so I'm just gonna do a quick fill. But I have found, I don't even know who this is, but I found some Met Gala pieces that I really loved, and I hope they're not AI. I think one of them is AI, like the Rihanna one I found is AI. There's a Nicki Minaj one that I found that's AI. But I found some really cute AI photos, well not AI, some Met Gala photos, and then I was like, what if I did like some dresses, some nails that match the dresses? So this one probably was the worst one I did. Like, I don't feel like it matched the dress at all, but I still think that either of these designs would complement the dress. Because I always tell like my prom girls, like, don't get nails that match the dress, get nails that complement the dress. So like, you don't want to have a black dress and then have black nails, because when you take your pictures and you have your hands on your hips or on your dress, then you're not going to be able to see your nails. It's going to be a waste of time. It's going to be pointless. It's going to look stupid. So like, if you are wearing a black dress and silver shoes, then you might want to do silver chrome on your nails. I always tell people to, if like, when in doubt, match your shoes. But never match your dress. So you don't really want something that's going to blend into your dress when you're done. So I did these, and then let's see. Oh, I can't wait to do that one. Okay, and then I did Tiana Taylor. I did 2 for her dress. They're similar, but I just did 2 different ones. So this one is like a black ombre with red roses and red chrome with black roses. And I did that one, even though I don't really see flowers on her dress. The theme this year for the Met Gala was like garden or something like that, like flowers or blossoming, something like that. Let me see. Okay, it says that the theme is Sleeping Beauties, Reawakening Fashion, and the dress code is the Garden of Time. So that's why everybody had like on floral stuff. So I did Tiana Taylor's. I feel like this would match Lala's dress too. Is that Lala? I hope that's Lala. Yeah, these would also match Lala's dress. Actually, this one would be perfect for her dress. But I wanted to do a black and red ombre for her dress, and then do some lace for hers. And these are all the ones that I want to recreate. And then I did Nikki's. And these are the 2 that I did for her dress. I feel like, let me see, I don't know which one matches better. I feel like they both match really well, but this one has butterflies, not actual flowers. It should be like a garden, but it does have flowers on it, like the pink flowers. But to complement the colors, like this orange up here, this blue down here, and then this pink up here, like this kind of coordinates with all of the colors on her dress. And then it has a gold chrome behind it. And then this one is matte, and I mean, they're all foils, obviously they're all foils, but it's foils over yellow with glitter, with outline and glitter. I'm sorry, I keep having brain farts. But yeah, so these are the ones I did for Nikki's, and then those are the only 3 dresses that I did. And then I want to do Rihanna's but I believe it's an AI photo. I'm 90% positive this is an AI picture. So, let me see. So I actually want to do this one on myself because I want to do green nails on myself because I never do green. But it's so funny because anytime I've done green in like my entire career, which is probably like twice, I did not like it and I took it off almost immediately. I don't like green. I don't know why. I actually do like green. I think green is a beautiful color, but I'm never satisfied with it on myself. So I don't know. We'll try something today and we'll see if it works. But yeah, so this is I'm sure this is an AI photo, but it does match the theme of the Met Gala. So I want to recreate something. I was thinking like matte green with 3D flower, with green 3D flowers on top, but I want the 3D flowers to be like different shades of green. I don't know if y'all can see the vision the way that I see it, but so like a green matte, a nice like grassy green matte with 3D acrylic green roses over the top. So I don't know. Hopefully that looks good, but I don't know about green. But we'll see. Green is the color of abundance, so let's just roll with that. But I need a fill, so that's the whole reason why I'm here in y'all face late at night. So hey YouTube, hey Facebook, hey Taz, if you have me on Instagram or if you have me on Facebook, send me a DM because I do have nail classes available. They are virtual. I have virtual nail classes available. And I work with budgets and I have classes as low as $50. So you can see my menu of classes. I really should show it on the live now, but let me see. I might not have it. Okay, I do have it. Okay, so I have virtual classes available. They're one-on-one classes. We can do them on Zoom. We can do them on FaceTime. We can even do them on Facebook where it's just me and you. But these are the virtual classes that I offer online, and you don't have to pay for the entire course if you don't want to. If you want all of these lessons in one, excluding the hard gel, then you would book the full class for 3 days. And that's $500. Well, it's $499, $500. And then there's all of these ones. So screenshot it if you guys are interested in classes, because if you message me asking me about classes, this is exactly what I'm going to send you. I'm going to send you this flyer. So I have all these different classes, and you can choose one. You can choose 3, you can choose 2. It's really up to you and what you're trying to learn in your career. And I split it up like that because I understand that some people don't need my entire class. Some people just want to talk about applications. Some people just want to learn application and see the application process and the acrylic to powder ratio, the liquid to powder ratio, etc. So there are some people who just only want to work on shaping. Or they only want to work on, or some people, I have beginners, and I think my most popular class is the cheapest one, which is the materials and products guide, and which I have a lot of beginners always taking, because people always want to know what products am I using, what equipment am I using, where exactly can I buy everything. So I have a list of links, and although it's a list of links and it's like a written note, we still have a one-on-one FaceTime call. So if you want to go through Amazon with me, or you want to go through different nail supplies online with me, then you absolutely can do that. So I show you everywhere that you can buy whatever you need, whatever city that you're in. I will look up the nail supplies and I'll tell you. Thankfully, like I've mentioned before, that I've been on tour teaching classes, and whenever I go to a different city or a different state to teach a class, the first thing I do before I teach the class is I go to your local nail supply. So I always hear people say, people always ask me oh, where do I get products? I don't buy from C-Tones anymore since you're not involved. I get that. I tell y'all to purchase from C-Tones because at the end of the day, those are still my products that I made by hand, and I still stand by the products. Although I'm not associated with the company anymore and I stepped down, at the end of the day, the quality of the products has not changed. So if you really love C-Tones, then just keep buying C-Tones. But my husband was saying the other day that people stopped buying C-Tones. Well, a lot of people stopped buying C-Tones because he always says people do business with people. People don't do business with entities and with products. People do business with people. So when I had Cetones, I was very active on here. I went live all the time. I showcased everything all the time. I was very active, very, very like just talkative, and just showed you all the products on Cetones. That was my job. I mean, although I owned it, I was my main brand ambassador. I was going to be the main brand ambassador, because we all know that when you hire brand ambassadors, they do not do what you need them to do ever. They may do it 1 or 2 times, but after that, they're never going to put in the work that you will put into your business unless they're getting like paid real cash, real money. But we were giving thousands of dollars of products away every month to like maybe like 6 to 10 different people, and none of those people did what they were not. I'm not trying to shade anybody, but like we just didn't get the content that we needed, despite pushing out thousands of dollars of products every month. So I didn't fire anybody, but I had to be the example of what I needed a brand ambassador to be and what I needed a brand ambassador to do. But anyway, so I do understand that a lot of people don't do business with Cetones anymore because I left. I understand that. Okay, I don't understand. I don't get it, because I feel like if it's a good product and you really like it, who cares who owns the business? Like, y'all don't care who owns Walmart. Y'all don't care who owns Starbucks. Like, y'all go and because you guys like the products or you guys like whatever. But I mean, it's different in the nail industry, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, I'm not disgruntled at all. Cetones is still ran by my family. I have not spoken to them people in 2 years, y'all, but it's still ran by my family. And I would never want my family to starve. I don't care how mad I am. I don't care what we done went through. I never want my family to starve. So at the end of the day, it's their business now, and they're running it, and they still have all my products that I made, and I'm sure they're adding new stuff. But if you really like the acrylic, then just keep buying from Cetones, y'all. But if you don't want to buy from Cetones, I do have the materials, products, and guides list where I will show you Amazon, and I have a bunch of different nail supplies. And like I said, I will find a nail supply in your area, and I will tell you exactly where to go. Who if I gotta call them people to make sure they have this stuff, then I will. But I always went to different nail supplies all around the country, and there's not one city that I visited that did not have a Vietnamese nail supply. So I can't stand, I'm so sorry, but I can't stand when people, I'm like, okay, just go to your, if you don't want to purchase from Cetones, go to your local Vietnamese nail supply, and like I'll tell you exactly what to get. We can FaceTime, and I'll tell you exactly what to get at that nail supply. And the most common answer that I get after that is, there's no nail supply here. There's no nail supply. There's no Vietnamese nails. No, you're lying, sweetheart. You're either lying or you're not looking. Because I promise you, every city that I went to teach had a Vietnamese nail supply. It's inevitable. If there are nail salons, Vietnamese nail salons in your city on every corner, like every city in America, there's a Vietnamese nail supply in your city. So I'm sorry, you're either not looking hard enough, or you're not looking at all, or you want me to do all the work for you. But either way it goes, there's a Vietnamese nail supply in your city. So either you can look it up on your own, or I can look it up for you, but it's there. Nail prep and retention, that's not just like filing down the nails and removing polish and all that stuff, but nail prep and retention. So what you can do during the nail preparation process to make sure that your nails last a long time. The prep process is the main component of retention. So that's what I'll be teaching in that one. Shaping and e-file techniques. If you're not familiar with your e-file, or you want to see the way I use my e-file, if you want to see what e-file I use, different e-files that I use, we go through that. I show you the e-file techniques because I know a lot of people are not comfortable with the e-file when they first start. Fills and removals. If you purchase the nail prep and retention class, then I will give you the fill-ins and removals class for 50% off. Because to me, it kind of ties in. Like, if you have good retention, when somebody comes in for a fill, you'll know. So, I mean, you don't know how well somebody retained their nails until they come back for a fill. So those two classes kind of go hand in hand. It's kind of like a before and after type class. acrylic application. That one's popular. Acrylic application with tips or acrylic application with forms. Two different processes, two completely different processes. That's why it's two different classes. If you purchase both of the classes together, I do give you a 25% discount. So I have a lot, I got a lot going on, a lot of classes, but make sure you screenshot this. And yeah, so contact me if you want to book a class. Tiffany said she got to go a city over because she's in Birmingham. I used to live in Birmingham, so you're absolutely right. But there is a nail supply in Birmingham, believe it or not. It's ran by a nail technician, but I'm gonna hit her up because I haven't seen. I hope she ain't blocked me or nothing like that. I know sometimes nail techs get disgruntled against me, and I have no idea what I did. But I haven't seen her on my Facebook in years. That's the sad part. But I did her nails. She's in Birmingham, and I do believe she has a nail supply now. I believe there's a couple of people who have nail supplies in Birmingham, but they're not ran by Vietnamese people. Now, if you want to go to a really good Vietnamese nail supply and you're okay with traveling, drive to Atlanta. I did it when I was out there. They have some amazing nail supplies out there. Black owned and Vietnamese owned. I ain't gonna lie, I prefer to go to the Vietnamese owned, but if you're all about supporting our people, I totally get it. Go to the black owned one, but then still slide by the Vietnamese one just to check too. But but yeah, so I used to live in Birmingham, so I do understand that there's not a Vietnamese nail supply in your city. I totally get that. So yeah, all that mess I was talking earlier, I get. So there are Vietnamese nail supplies in the next major city over. That's what I would say. So maybe not in your city if it's a major city, but definitely in the next city over. Think about it. There's a Vietnamese nail supply on every single corner. How are they getting their stuff? They go to the nail supply. They're not ordering from Kiara Sky. You think these Vietnamese people are ordering from Kiara Sky? You think they're ordering from Creation and iGel? No, they're not. They're not ordering nothing. They're going to their nail supply and they're talking to their people. Like, that's just what it is. So, yeah, go ahead and screenshot that if you want classes. And Taz said, she said, when I make my own products, she's going to stock up on those and still keep all the C-Tones products. Look, I love you guys. It's the loyalty for me. Like, I always say, like, I don't want my family to starve. You want to order from C-Tones, order from C-Tones. But I get that a lot of people are just not comfortable with it. And it's a loyalty thing. And I get it. I ain't mad at y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all for that, you know? So, yeah, and nobody listens to me when I say keep ordering from C-Tones. And I understand. Nobody listens to me anyway. So, I don't want to start another nail supply. I really don't. It's not something that I want to do. I'm kind of jaded. I'm kind of jaded about being a nail supplier, only because at one point it just seemed like people only loved me because I had the nail supply. And so I only had so many people who were all in my face and nice to me and all that stuff because I had the nail supply. But once I stepped down from C-Tones, like, I didn't have those friends no more. I didn't have that closeness with people anymore. And it was weird because it was like, dang, like, I stepped away from my company and now I feel like I lost everything. I know that sounds weird, but like, I went through a really bad depression after I left C-Tones. I was already in a depression before I left, but once I left and I gave up my company and the reality set in that it just wasn't mine anymore, like, and it wasn't just giving up my company, I gave up my income. Like, we were making money at C-Tones and I was getting paid at C-Tones, and so I had to give up, you know, my income, and I had a baby on the way, not knowing, but I did have a baby on the way. And so that was not fun to go through, losing my income, not losing my company, but stepping away from my company, and all that stuff, and then having a baby on the way. That just wasn't the ideal situation. And I know, like, the more I talk about it, the more I divulge information, but I always said, like, one day I'll write a book about it because it was so bad. Like, my separation from C-Tones, y'all think that it was just like, okay, I'm gonna bow out gracefully. It was not graceful at all. It was bad. It was bad. When I bowed out, like when I said bye to C-Tones, it was, you know, it was very docile and graceful. But when I bowed out from my family, that was not a pretty moment for any of us. But it got so bad, y'all. Like, I tell people now all the time, like, everybody knows it's common sense that business and family don't mix. We all kind of know that, but at the end of the day, like, if your family is going to get it together to make the business work, or you can't afford employees yet, or if you're starting off, it's okay to get help from your cousins and your mama and your sister, and it's kind of like, who else would do you right in your business? But if you're going to do business with your family, I think that your family should get their family shit together first. If your family is dysfunctional, it's going to continue being dysfunctional. Just because y'all making money now, it's not gonna make you guys have different personalities. It's gonna bring out the real in everybody. It's gonna make people greedy. It's gonna make people jealous. It's gonna make people use you. So when I walked away from my family, I didn't walk away from Seatones. I literally walked away from my family. I was like, I love y'all, but y'all not gonna keep doing me like this. Not me. And then a couple short months later, I was like, you know what? I'm going to have to step away from Seatones, because if I don't, I'm going to have to continue doing this business, and then I'm still going to have to deal with people who don't respect me. And so I stepped away gracefully from the business, but I did not separate from the family gracefully. So, like, I'm still catching hell for it. I told y'all in my last life, like, my daddy called me all the time and be like, well, you're not talking to your mom. You still not talking to your mom. You know what will make me happy? If you just call your mom. But yeah, so y'all, I'm not disgruntled. I just feel like when it comes to business and family, just get your family in order first. Get the dysfunction in order first. Do the healing first. Do the trauma healing first, if it's there. And then once that's done, then you can add business and money into the mix. But if you add business and money into something that's already traumatic and already kind of like dysfunctional, it's not going to work. It's going to work for a little bit, but then eventually it's not going to work. Our family business kept getting intertwined in our real business, and it was just like, I can't do it. I can't do this anymore. It was really ugly, y'all, and it was goodness, it was a struggle to get out of that depression of losing, I keep saying losing my company. I didn't lose my company. Nobody took nothing from me. I stepped away from it, and I don't regret my decision for stepping away. I just regret that the company wasn't shut down completely when I stepped away. I feel like that would have been the most ethical thing to do in that moment, was to say, okay, well, this is not my company. This is technically yours. So I'm just going to step down. Like, she didn't have to give it to me. I gave her a whole bunch of different options, and she was like, no, I'm not shutting down the company. No, I'm not stopping nothing. No, we're not splitting anything. If you want to leave, bye. So that's what happened. And I was like, okay, I'm out of here. So, I didn't take my products with me. I left them with thousands of pounds, thousands of colors, a bunch of acrylic that they should not run out of for years to come. But if they did, that means that they're doing good and they're selling it, and that's great. But again, like I said, I never want to starve my family or starve anybody. That's not who I am. That's not how I get down. Let me grab a different brush, y'all. So, if you have C-Bucks, use them. It's free money. It's free nail supplies. If you got C-Bucks, use them. If you're so intertwined with me that you're not getting on Seatones ever again, girl, I ain't mad at you. I love you for that. I really do. But at the end of the day, Seatones still has good products, and I'm not going to knock that, because I was there for that. But I totally understand if that's not the route you want to go. But I didn't leave the company because something was wrong with the company. I left the company because something was wrong with the family owning the company. So that's my little spiel. I have to do my little Seatone spiel every time I go live now, because some people have been gone from the nail industry, or they don't know that I'm not intertwined with Seatones anymore. So I get a lot of people asking me different questions that, like, they suck to answer, because it's like, I don't want to talk about that. But I have to talk about that because some people just weren't there to see my exit or to see the announcement or whatever. Like, there's still people 2 years later like, hey, how do I use my C-Books? Hey, can you help me with the website? I'm like, girl, I ain't been on the website in years. I can't help you. So I do have to do my spiel every time, because if I don't, then you guys will be asking me questions. But yeah, I don't divulge all the information only because I do want to, like, I don't know, I feel like I want to write a book. I really do feel like I want to write a book. It's crazy, I know. But I don't want to give away all the tea, because I just feel like a book would be helpful in a sense of not just, you know, how to walk away from a company and heal from, you know, losing your income and losing your baby. Like, C-Tones was my baby. I made C-Tones. C-Tones came from my tax money. C-Tones came from, you know, me actually traveling. My auntie fired me from her shop. And when she fired me, and it was over family, it had nothing to do with the business. She fired me over something personal. And honestly, it really didn't have much. I mean, it had something to do with me, but I'm not the person who pissed her off. Somebody else pissed her off, and she fired me because that person was like, what you gonna do? Fire her? And then my auntie was like, yup, sure am. And so, yeah, I probably wouldn't have been fired had she not had that conversation with that person. But, but yeah, so my auntie had fired me, and I, instead of going to a new salon, because it kind of caught me off guard for real, never expected that auntie to you know, fire me or whatever, but whatever. But yeah, so she fired me from the salon, and I started going to my clients' houses, which I hate being a traveling nail tech. No shade to traveling nail techs, but I hate it. I hate it, hate it, hate it. I hate sitting in traffic, because it was in Los Angeles. I hate sitting in traffic, going to my client's house. I can't stand finding parking because it's LA. I can't stand taking all my stuff out my trunk, taking all my stuff out my car, setting up tables and chairs and all types of stuff at people's houses. And then, like, when people are at their houses, they get comfortable. So now it's like, you know, my client got to stop and feed their dog. Or my client got to stop and open up snacks for their kids. Or I'm taking too long because every 10 minutes I got to stop because she got a roast in the oven or something crazy. Like, so doing nails at people's houses and being a traveling nail tech, it was a lot of wear and tear on my body, because I was, you know, unloading, loading, packing up, and all that stuff takes time. So like a set that would normally take 2 hours was taking like 3 to 4. And I'm also allergic to dogs. I like dogs, but I'm allergic to dogs. So like every single one of my clients had a dog. So after so long, you know, doing nails, I would start sneezing and just getting itchy and uncomfortable. And it really sucked, because I like dogs. So like, I'm okay with dogs sitting next to me while I'm doing nails, or like, I'm okay with like petting a dog just and introducing myself. That's your family. So if I'm coming to your house, I'm coming to your dog's house. So of course I want to introduce myself, hug your dog, love on your dog, just like I would hug and love on your kid. So yeah, it was not a fun experience for me traveling, but I would travel every weekend to do nails to my clients' houses. And then after I'd be done, you know, for the day, I'd have a few $100s in my pocket, and I would go straight to the nail supply when my day was over. And I would find a bunch of different colored acrylics, and I would go home and I would mix them and I would play with them and figure out like the consistency and how I'm going to teach people how to use my products and how I'm going to color my products and all this other stuff. So I used all my money every weekend to go and do research on how to open this acrylic line and buy other people's acrylic lines to kind of see like, okay, I like this about this, but I don't like this. And I want to design mine like this, and I don't want it to be like this, etc., etc. So I was spending all my money on C-Tones to start it. And then my taxes hit, y'all. And when my taxes hit, I didn't have to purchase small amounts every weekend. I went to a big supplier, and purchased like, I think my first big purchase of acrylic was like 75 pounds. And I was like, oh man, like I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I figured it out. And that was before I found a chemist. So one day I had a mentor and I found a chemist, and the chemist helped me come up with my own acrylic formula. And that took a while and that was expensive, but I had already made the initial investment and C-Tones was making money. And so I was able to make the investment of a chemist and make my own acrylic formula, the liquid and the powder. So it was super cool. And I knew that whatever I was doing, it couldn't be duplicated because I had somebody making my stuff from scratch. So C-Tones is my baby. I put a lot of trial and error, blood, sweat, tears, every bodily fluid you can think of went into creating C-Tones. And, you know, it was what it was, and it was as big as it was when I was, you know, involved, because it was my baby and I was putting in the work every day. Now, I was not sending out packages. I was not packing packages or none of that. I was, my mother was doing that. My sister was doing that. Even my little brother was doing that. So other people were packing up packages. I was just making the products. But when I tell y'all that I spent 30-hour days in that warehouse, I would be sitting there for 30 hours straight. Of course, I would take a nap. I had a little chair in there. I would take a little nap. But I would put on, like, you know, a show or whatever, and I would be freaking there at the warehouse for 30 hours making a brand new collection by myself. So when I say that my formula is the same and it's still with C-Tones, it really is, because when I left C-Tones, I never told nobody my formula. Not a soul knows my formula. Not even the chemist that helped me, because when I take my stuff from the chemist, I would remix it with other stuff. So it still couldn't be duplicated. Somebody can go to that chemist and be like, yeah, I want that formula that Mickey created. And he'll be like, okay. And then they'll go home and use it and be like, this ain't it. It's not, because I mixed it with other things. So I never told anybody my formula, so nobody has my formula. And nobody has my technique on how to create the colors. My formula only applies, what the chemist did only applies to clear acrylic and monomer. But the colors themselves, I actually mix those. I would say by hand, only because I was using the machines that I was using. I would say that, like, you know, I gotta use, but it technically wasn't by hand because I was using machines, but I was using those machines with my hands. But, yeah, I didn't teach anybody how to use the machines. I didn't tell them where to even get the machines at, how to find them, or anything like that. So, like, and then I left the machines there, y'all. Like, they're probably just sitting, they probably done tried to use my machines plenty of times, but there's like a certain way that I was making the colors. And that's why y'all can't find Victory Lap nowhere. That's why y'all can't find certain colors that I created. Y'all can't find those elsewhere, because I really did do my big one when it came to creating the colors. And it took a lot of trial and error. At one point I did do the colors by hand, like I was really grinding pigment by hand. So yeah, so when C-Tones runs out of product, the only thing that they can do is try to figure out how to work the machines, which they're not going to be able to do. And not because they can't work the machines, like they're not smart enough to work the machines, but it's the machines that I bought, they're not for acrylic. And so you have to use them a certain way to make them work for acrylic. And that took a lot of time for me to figure that out and me to kind of invent that technique. And so because I was spending 30-hour days in the warehouse, nobody was helping me. So nobody deserved to get my formula. Nobody came and checked on me like, hey, have you ate? Hey, you know, you've been in here for 30 days, for 30 hours. Are you okay? Have you slept? Like, nobody would check on me. Nobody would come in and help me do anything. So it was like, had somebody been there, I would be like, okay, let me show you real quick how to work these machines and make this pigment and all this other stuff. But, you know, that's not how it went down. So nobody has my formula. And if I wanted to start a new acrylic line, I definitely can. But also, wouldn't that be weird if I was C-Tone's competition? I don't want to be C-Tone's competition. If I were ever to open up another nail line, it would be gel. It'd probably be gel polish. So, so yeah, that's just, I don't know, that like a whole nother spiel, right? But it would probably be gel polish, only because C-Tone doesn't have, well, I don't know. I haven't been on the website. They could possibly have gel polish. It's so crazy because, like, I stopped talking to my mentor because he did me so grimy when I left C-Tones. Like, he started treating me like I wasn't shit because I didn't have C-Tones anymore. And it was so weird to me because, like, I started C-Tones. I could start 50 more companies and make them bigger than C-Tones, and you know that. And I don't know, whatever. You know, my mentor is like an old white man, and, you know, they think differently. And so, yeah, so he really offended me. And so I just separated myself from, you know, my ex-mentor or whatever. Well, my mother decided to get in cahoots with my mentor after I stopped speaking with him and I left C-Tones. And so she got in cahoots with my mentor. So they're in cahoots now. And now she sells his products. So that's kind of weird to me, but whatever. It pissed my husband off. It really didn't make me mad because, you know, I don't put anything past people who never treated me right anyway. But, like, it pissed my husband off. He was like, I went on the C-Tones website and look what I saw. And I was like, ooh, dang, for real? And then he was like, yeah, how dare she? And I was like, babe, it's not even that serious. Like, you already know how things go. So it sucked. But at the end of the day, I prosper because of who I am. And like you guys have said, and like my husband says, people do business with people. The people don't do business with products and entities. They do business with people. So if I'm not involved with certain things just ain't gonna work. And I still wish C-Tone's the best because it's still my baby, you know? Like, it's still mine. C is for Ocean. That's my son. And Tones is for Melody. That's my daughter. So at the end of the day, my blood is still in that company. But yeah, I never have an issue with you guys purchasing from C-Tones because, like I said, I still stand by the product and I still use the product. This is C-Tones See-Through Clear. It is my favorite clear. Why? Because I did it. It's mine. So yeah, I got all my colors. Well, not all my colors, but I got a bunch of colors. And I'm not getting rid of my colors just because they C-Tones. Like, I have thousands of dollars worth of C-Tones. I wasn't about to give that back to my mom. That's number one. I wouldn't give back shit that I already had in my studio. And also, I'm not going to throw away all of my C-Tones just so I could buy from another company. That does not make sense at all. So I have years worth of products. I'll probably never have to buy products, y'all, again for the rest of my career. I have so much C-Tones. So, I mean, I still use it. So when you guys ask me, like, what are you using? It's like, well, I'm using C-Tones. I know I'm not with them no more, but that's what it is. I ain't going to lie to you. So, yeah, that's how it goes. That's how it's been for me. But it ain't no issue. I owned C-Tones, y'all. I started it. It's my company. I owned it, and it just, like I said, it kind of, you know, business and family, they just don't mix. And I actually, even though I owned it, I was not in charge of the money. I had no, at one point, I got kicked out of the account. And, like, if I wanted money, I had to ask for it like a child. Like, and when somebody is financially abusing you, especially if you don't realize that you're being abused, when somebody's financially abusing you, narcissists, they like to, if you ask them for something, like, let's say you ask your narcissist husband for $40. Now, if I ask my husband for $40, he's going to give me like $60 because he knows just how I am. And I don't know. It's just, you know, I feel like that's the way you love people. I don't know. But for whatever reason, you know, if I ask my husband for some money, he's always going to give me more than what I asked him for, right? Because he probably knows I'm probably asking for less anyway. So he always gives me a little bit more. And, but when you're involved with a narcissist, and you ask a narcissist for $40, they're only going to give you $40. Why? Because they need you to need them again. They don't want to give you $100. They don't want to give you $60, because if they do, you may not need them again. You may take that extra $20 and go and invest, and then now you got more money than them. So unfortunately, I was just in a space where I was being financially abused using my own company's money, and I didn't notice that I was being abused. I was kind of like, I didn't take it too hard, because I feel like I dealt with worse stuff from this person, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But then it got to the point where I'm asking you for my own rent money, and this is my company. Like, it was crazy, it was bad. So yeah, and then I just didn't have access to like the ATM cards, and when I wanted to go purchase supplies from the chemist, like I had to go get, you know, stuff from the chemist and stuff from my mentor and stuff. And then it's like, when I went to go purchase, I had to ask, like, hey, can you send me this so I can purchase, you know, X, Y, and Z from the company? And I just didn't think it should be that way, because, you know, it's my company. Why don't I have access to the money type deal? And then, like I said, it's with family, like, people get greedy. People get entitled, like you owe them for having a successful company. And then got to the point where, like, I didn't even know, but C-Tones is paying like half my family's rent. I had no idea this was going on. Like, C-Tones is buying people cars. C-Tones is paying people's car notes. And then it's crazy because, like, once I left C-Tones, and C-Tones, you know, obviously took a big hit because y'all don't want to purchase from them no more. C-Tones took a big hit. And all those people whose rent I was paying, they're now living with their parents. They're now living, you know, shacked up and all types of stuff, because my company's not paying their rent anymore. It's not making the kind of money that we did. So, yeah, I just stepped down because it was like, I feel like I'm being financially abused. I don't deserve that. And then our family was just, we were going through a lot of dysfunctional stuff, and I was firing people. Like, if so-and-so can't get it together, so-and-so can't work for me no more. Like, I never wanted so-and-so to work for me. And so the fact that so-and-so is working for me anyway is an issue, but I'm letting it slide because, you know, family is family. But then, like, I had people complaining about this person, and it's like, okay, well, then this person can't work for us no more. That's just what it's going to have to be. And, like, within 90 days, that person was back working for us. And I'm like, I own the company, and if I say that, you know, it's not going well with a certain employee, then it needs to be respected. And there were brand ambassadors who were talking about me and doing stuff, and it was like, can you fire that person as a brand ambassador, because I own this and I'm sending this person free products, and I'm like calling this person sis, and I'm finding out that this person really doesn't even like me for real, and they're talking mess about me any chance they get, and it's getting back to me every time. And it's like, I love her, but it's clear she don't love me, so I need her off of the team. And it took people months to remove this girl from my team. So it was like, kind of like, I just wasn't being respected in my business. Family was getting involved in ways they shouldn't be. Like firing family. People were telling me that I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't contributing. They were doing all the work. And I'm like, how are you doing all the work? You ain't never made a bowl of acrylic ever. Well, kind of stuff like that. So I was being belittled, and then I had to live with these people, and it was bad, y'all. It was bad. Y'all wouldn't blame me for leaving. Y'all would have left too. Y'all would have left faster than I left. But once I started doing my shadow work, and I started journaling every day, and I just started to see things clearly, and I was like, you know, it's probably better for me to be homeless with my kids than to be involved in this any longer. And so guess what, y'all? I was homeless with my kids. And I figured it out. We figured it out. We got us a place, got us a nice place, and you know, it sucks. It's a really sucky adjustment for my children, because when I left everybody. Only person I talked to in my family was my father. At the time, my father wasn't involved at all. But me and my dad have a very different, very close relationship. So because of that, My relationship with my dad is separate from any other relationship that I have. My dad has 9 kids. I'm number 2 out of 9. I don't talk to none of my siblings, not even the baby, not even the 2-year-old. But like, it's funny because like, I don't talk to nobody on my daddy's side except my dad. My dad is the only person I talk to. I don't even talk to his kids. So, yeah, I talk to him, and my kids talk to him and stuff, but it sucks for my kids because my kids miss my family. They miss my mom, they miss my brother, they miss my sister. They've missed out on a lot of births. Like, my family's had like 5 babies or something since I left, and then there's 5 babies on the way this year alone. So, you know, my kids have missed out on a lot, and they do miss the family and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I have put on Facebook today that missing somebody is not an excuse to return to being mistreated and talked about and stuff like that, and disrespected and belittled and stuff like that. You're supposed to miss people. When you leave people or people leave you, you're supposed to mourn that relationship. It's just, like, that's just human. But children, they just take things so differently. So my kids, well, not my kids, because my son is very overprotective of me. So if anybody do me wrong, he's like, I don't care. I'm not talking to them no more. I don't miss that person. So my son is very overprotective. He don't play about that. But my daughter, though, she's 12, and she's, you know, such a girl. And she's like, I miss them, and da-da-da-da-da. And so we have conversations, and we go to therapy, you know. Just because, you know, there's things that I can't really help her with. Like, I try to just kind of let her know that her feelings are normal or whatever. But, you know, she lashes out sometimes, as most kids do when they don't understand their emotions. And then I explain to her, like, sweetie, you miss the good times. You don't miss the person. You miss the good times. You don't miss being abused. You don't miss people talking bad about your mom, you know, in your face, lying to you about who I am and all this crazy stuff. Like, you're happy, and we're in a safe space now. We weren't in a safe space before. But my baby is so unfortunate. I do feel like she has like Stockholm syndrome, like she's in love with her abuser type thing. And I get it. I totally understand. So I have to help her through that. I have to help her navigate that, and that's not easy. And she was on her worst behavior when we first left because, you know, like I said, kids lash out. And it's been 2 years, and she still has her moments, and now she's hitting puberty. So, you know, her moments are not lashing out, but it's like she has sad moments, and she has moments where she just misses people, and I totally get it. So we're working on that, and at the end of the day, if you're the black sheep of your real family, make a new one. I'm sorry. The family you come from really ain't that important. You didn't choose these people. And if these people ain't treating you right, go and make a new family. I got so many friends and people who are just their family. I can't help it. That's mom, that's auntie, that's so-and-so. Because at the end of the day, you're allowed to choose your family. You're allowed to choose a healthy village. There's no point in having a village, y'all, if it's unhealthy. There's really no point. You probably be doing better for yourself if you left the unhealthy village and did it all on your own than if you just stayed in an unhealthy village. So that's what I be trying to explain to my daddy. Like, Dad, it's unhealthy over there. So I can't return back into the fold just because your feelings is hurt that I'm not talking to your baby mama. But I don't know. I do pray for the situation, and I do pray over the people that I no longer have any contact with, and I have mourned and grieved the situation. And so I know a lot of people don't understand because a lot of people have amazing mothers. Most people have amazing moms. Most people have moms that are just different. And so a lot of people don't understand where I be coming from when I be like, I don't speak to her. I have nothing to say to her. A lot of people don't understand where I be coming from. And it started when I was a child. It didn't start with C-tones. Y'all was literally watching that woman talk crazy to me, cuss me out all types of ways. And you guys thought that it was funny, and it was funny, and I was capitalizing off of it. But then I realized, like, this shit ain't funny. This is unhealthy. It was so unhealthy. I went back and watched some of those lives, and I was like, oh my God. Like, And my daughter was there to experience that and hear somebody talking to me like that and belittling me the way that they were. And so, yeah, I mean, I know that it was all funny when I was doing my mom's nails and stuff like that, but it's not. it wasn't. It wasn't funny. And when the cameras turned off, it was even worse. So, you know, here we are now. I just do my own nails. I got a few clients, which I don't enjoy going to work. I haven't went to work in months. I don't feel like going to work. I don't like going to work. I went to, today is only Tuesday, and in the last 7 days, I've been to 4 doctor's appointments. So, like, I don't go to work. I go to the doctors, and, you know, I take care of my kids, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. I try to get out there and work. Like, I'm contracted with the salon. I don't pay. But if they need me, I go in there and work. Or if I need to go in there and do a live or whatever, I just like doing live from my home because it's a salon. So it's a lot of girl talk in there. And the last time I was in there, I was like, yeah, let me get on. Last time I was in there, that's when Drake leaked his, you know, his little body part. And it was the talk of the salon that day. I'm married. I've never seen the picture. So, and I don't care to see the picture and grovel over the picture, but that, you know, that day it was popular, it was going on. And so all I heard that day was, you know, all about, you know, Drake stuff. And I don't want to talk about Drake stuff. I want to talk about nails, and I want to do, you know, nails, and I want to go live, and I don't want to be inappropriate on my live. I know I get, you know, it's girl talk. But also, like, I don't know who's watching, and I don't want to offend anybody. So it was like there was a lot of talking about very inappropriate things, and it was just kind of like, I should just do this from the comfort of my home. I would rather y'all hear my kids flipping out than hear, you know, some women talking really raunchy and making y'all uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable, so I didn't know how it was going to make y'all feel, so I just wrapped up the live and left, and I ain't been back since. But the owner's so cool. He still, you know, calls and checks on me and stuff like that, and then he'd be like, you know, whenever you're ready, come on. So, yeah, I'm not ready. But, and then I still have my studio in Los Angeles that I do classes, at one-on-one classes in person at, and it's storage because I got to keep all my old Cetone stuff there, because when I moved to Sacramento, I did not bring my stuff with me. Well, I brought some stuff with me, obviously. Y'all see me using it. So yeah, here I am. No Cetones anymore, but I'm still me, and I have no regrets. And if anything, you guys have just shown me so much love. Like, we ain't buying from Cetones, bitch. You're not there. We not buying it. So I get it. I ain't mad at y'all. I you know, whatever. I'm not gonna fight with nobody. But yeah, so I love you guys. Thanks for being loyal. And I mean, yeah, that's as deep as it goes. Okay, y'all, I'm about to mix a color real quick, because this green that I'm about to use, it's dark, and it's the green that I want to use, but it's kind of dark, and it doesn't really match well with the acrylic. So I'm going to just pour a little bit out. Because it's like really dark green. I got like bristles, nail brush bristles in here. And then I'm going to mix it with a little bit of lime, or like neon green, just to kind of brighten it up. I love making custom colors. It's one of my favorite things to do. Just make some custom colors. I can't be the only one. But I don't have a green that I like. So, or that kind of matches the greens that I have. I just wanted to brighten this up, because the greens that I have in acrylic are a little bit on the bright side. So I want them to kind of match the green that's at the base. So I'm not doing too many layers of this. Hey Clarissa, hey Jerry. I'm sorry, I'll be talking. I don't be paying attention to comments. But yeah, so I'll be paying attention to the comments. But I love y'all, and I am so up to being anybody's mentor. I am actually offering a mentorship for content creation for those of you guys who are into nail or any business, honestly. But if you want to just start making money content creating, I was about to say I'm a single mom, and I've been talking about my husband the whole time. No, I'm not a single mom. I'm not a single mom, but I am a stay-at-home mom, and my children are homeschooled. My kids are not vaccinated. Well, my oldest is, but that's because I didn't know better. I was only 17 when I had her. If I would have known what I know now, my child would have never, ever, ever been shot up with any of that stuff. But she is, and she is my most sickly kid. She is diabetic, and she's been diagnosed with a host of other things. So because of that, she was diagnosed with diabetes like in the midst of COVID. So because of that, she never returned to school. The week that she was supposed to return to school, my baby went into a coma because we did not know she was diabetic, and she had too much sugar in her system, and it was just bad. So my baby went into a coma the week she was supposed to return to in-person school. And so I did not allow her to return to school because I didn't allow her to return to school because I had to learn how to do her insulin, and I had to learn how to, and it was hard, y'all. My mom really stepped up to the plate and did most of it. It was very difficult. I had anxiety attacks all the time. I went into a depression because, like, my daughter is type 1 diabetic. She's going to have diabetes for the rest of her life. So for the rest of her life, anytime she eats, she needs insulin. Her pancreas does not make it for her. It's dead, and the organ don't work, and you cannot get a pancreas implant. So my daughter's body doesn't make insulin, and so she needs synthetic insulin for the rest of her life. So that was really difficult for me. And the hospital that she went into a coma in is the same hospital that her father died in, and that was when her dad died. That was my last time going to a hospital. I was pregnant with her when he died, and after he passed away, it was so traumatic for me that I decided not to have my baby in a hospital. I went to a birth center, and I had a midwife. So I was like, I'm not going to a hospital. Like, I just left the hospital, and I left empty-handed, and I just don't want to ever go to a hospital again, right? So I've spent my entire life just avoiding hospitals. So I had a second child 6 years later, and I did not have my son in a hospital either. I had him in a birth center. So I spent all these years avoiding hospitals, and then my daughter gets very sick one day, and they have to take her to a hospital. So they take her to this hospital because I was gone. I was at work. My mom calls me, and she's like, Melody's not feeling good, so I'm taking her to the hospital because she's never been this bad before. Okay. All right. So I'm starting to pack up because I'm 2 hours away at my studio. I'm starting to pack up. My mom calls me about 30 minutes later, and she's like, yeah, so Melody is diabetic. And I start screaming, like, I don't even know what that means. What does that even mean? Like, what the freak is diabetic? Like, I've heard it a million times, but what does that even mean for me, for my life, for her life? And my husband, who wasn't my husband at the time, he was like, my mom got him on the phone, and she was like, you need to bring her because she's distraught and she cannot drive 2 hours to come here. You need to drive her. So he had to cancel work that night, and he had, our son. So we hop in the car, and he takes me to the hospital 2 hours away. And this is the same hospital that they took her father to when he got shot. Now, this is a really terrible hospital. So once he got shot, and he got to the hospital, they were like, we can't do anything for him because we're not equipped for a gunshot victim to this capacity. So we have to airlift him in the helicopter to another hospital. Okay. So they do that, and he goes to another hospital. That's the hospital that I go to. I show up there. We waited. I got there at midnight. Got shot like around 11. I got to the hospital about midnight, and when I got there, I couldn't see him. They told me I couldn't see him. He was in surgery. And then we sat in the waiting room until he died at 5:30. And during his like second or third surgery, he got shot 4 times. So, so after all that happens, and I leave empty-handed, I could not see him. I could not see his body. I could not kiss him and tell him bye or anything, simply because after he was officially pronounced dead, his body was considered, what's it called? His body was considered evidence. So we were not allowed to touch him. I believe his mom went to go see him, like just to identify him, but I wasn't allowed for that. So that was traumatic. Spending 5.5 hours in a hospital and leaving empty-handed, and the icing on the cake was that it was Father's Day. So it was time for church. So by the time I got home was an hour away. I got home, I went in the shower, I cried my life away. And then first thing I did was I got dressed and I went to church, because that's what we always did on Sundays. So I got dressed, I went to church. My pastor announced it, like, yeah, Brother Sean was killed last night, and blah, blah, blah. That was hard. So I left, and I left that church, and I went to his church because I had his Bible. And so I wanted to give his Bible to his parents. So I went to his church afterwards. And when I walked into his church, I wish I would have stayed at my own church. It was already emotional at my church, but when I got to his church, everybody was falling out. Everybody was crying. Everybody was just throwing a fit. And like, I don't even think they preached the sermon that day. I think that it was just all about him. I mean, he was really, really churchy. So the day was all about him, and there were a lot of young people in the church, and it was a lot of screaming, and it was bad. And so I tried to give his Bible to his dad, and his dad wouldn't accept it. He was like, this is not my Bible. This is your Bible. And then at the time, nobody knew I was pregnant either. So it was so crazy. It was crazy. So then I had to tell his parents the next day that I was pregnant. And so then they didn't force me, but they asked me, coerced me to help them with the funeral plans. So I spent like the next day at the mortuary, and it was a lot, y'all. So I'm just not keen on hospitals. My daughter goes into this coma where she goes to this hospital, the same hospital they take him to, and then they tell me and my mom, oh, well, we're not equipped to deal with this because she's in really bad shape. So we cannot take her as a patient. We have to send her to another hospital. Mind you, this is the same hospital that said they couldn't deal with her dad. So I'm like, okay, what hospital are we going to? Oh, and then they tell us that they're taking me to the same hospital that my daughter's father died in. And I'm like, can we go to any other hospital, please? And they're like, no, this is an emergency. That's the closest hospital. Get over it. So, then it's COVID. So they're like, yeah, we got to take her in an ambulance. Okay. So I go, I'm getting ready to get into the ambulance. And they're like, yeah, you can't come because, it's small and it's COVID and blah, blah. I was like, if y'all don't let me come in that ambulance, she ain't going with y'all. So I had to sit in the front seat, and I called my dad, and I just was turned around the whole time in the front seat, just staring at my baby in the back. And maybe because they unhooked her from like all the machines and stuff at the other hospital, I actually watched my daughter slip into a coma on the 30-minute ride to the other hospital. And when I saw her again, because I had to check in, they wouldn't let me go into the, they wouldn't let me go in the ambulance entrance with her. I had to go to the front into the waiting room and stuff, and I had to check in and do a COVID check and all this crazy stuff. But my baby was in a coma and she was away from me, and I was not happy. And I finally got upstairs, And I realized not only am I at the hospital that this man died in, I'm on the same floor that he died on. And it was just too much. It was too much, y'all. And my baby was in a coma. Her eyes were bulging. Her brain was swollen. She was unresponsive. And they left us alone a lot because there really wasn't much that they could do to bring her sugar down. They had to bring it down gradually. She was in the 500s. And there really wasn't much they could do but come and check on her every few hours. And so I was just with her, holding her, just waiting on her to wake up. And so she was unresponsive. She's in a coma for almost 3 days. And when she woke up in the middle of the night. I was on the phone with my dad. And the first thing she said was, "I'm hungry." I'm like, "Girl, I bet you are. Hell, you've been asleep for 3 days." And I was like, "Dad, she just woke up." And so I was like really happy to be on the phone with my dad. He was all crying and stuff. So my baby went into a coma, and I was so depressed that my child was going to have to live with this for the rest of her life. And I just didn't understand the diagnosis. And I didn't want to prick my baby. I didn't want to give her an insulin shot every time she eats. Like, that was weird to me. It was crazy. Like, I got to give her a shot like every day, 3-4 times a day. It was nuts. And then and so I came home. My baby finally comes home, and we had to figure it out. And I went into a depression because I was taking it so hard, but my daughter was taking it so well. It was difficult because she was like, "This is my life now, and these shots don't hurt. These finger pricks don't hurt. Like, it is what it is." Like, she adjusted so well, and it's, I don't know, it sounds bad, but it felt like it sucked because I was going through the motions, by myself. So she was fine. She's fine now. Like, I tell her all the time, like, "Baby, you're a normal child. Ain't nothing wrong with you. The only difference between you and another kid is that you need insulin to eat. But you can eat everything that other kids eat." If she was type 2, she wouldn't be allowed to eat sugar. She's not type 2, she's type 1. She can eat whatever she wants in the world. She just needs insulin for it because her body ain't gonna make it. So I used to explain it to her all the time, but it was harder for me than it was for her. And so it felt like I felt wronged for being so sad. And because she's taking it well, I'm not even the one that's sick. Why am I crying every day? So it was very, very difficult for me to kind of go through that situation. And so ever since I've been at home, well, not ever since I've been at home, but I worked, and then my mom was helping me with her. And then once I left C-Tones, I had to become full-time, 100% stay-at-home mom. My son is 6. He just turned 6 last month. He is technically in kindergarten. But my son reads at a 3rd grade level, and my kids do work every day, even on weekends. I don't care, because they don't do the average workload every single day that other kids do. So I don't make my kids do 8 hours of work every day. I just don't. I'm not going to do that to my kids. We're at home. So, but on the weekends, they still got to do work. Y'all still got to do work. Go in there and do your homework, and then we can go have some fun. But, yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I honestly wouldn't have it any other way. It allows me to be present. It allows me to, and my husband doesn't like me working after I have a kid. So like when I had my son, I went back to work immediately. And he was not happy with that because he did not go back to work. So for the first 2 years of our son's life, he did not work. And then now we have a 1-year-old. Now I'm the one that doesn't work, and he just feels like that's a natural order of things. So he doesn't want me working for the first 2 years after a baby. So I'm not working, and I'm fine with that. But how do I, as a woman who was raised to take care of myself no matter what, and to always have my own income, and I've always been kind of successful with my endeavors, give all that up and allow somebody to take care of me? That's hard. it's hard for me at least. And I could not give up my income. I was like, babe, like, I love you, but like, I feel weird asking you for money. I feel weird, you know, using your card or being in your account. Like, I got my own bills and like all this stuff. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, no. And so I'm like, well, if you're not going to let me leave and go work, well, then I'm getting back into content creation. I'm going to start making my Facebook money and my YouTube money and all that stuff again. And that, he's like, okay, I don't care, because you're at home doing that. That's not a big deal. So I started content creating again, making money on Facebook and Instagram. And then my page got hacked, for those of you guys who know that story. My page got hacked at 700,000 followers. And I was devastated. And it was like right when I got the money back, right when I started getting those big payouts again, like starting to get them. Like my last big payout was $6,000. And I was like, yes, I finally started making the good money again. Because when I left Seatown, I was making $10,000 from Facebook. And I was just so excited and freaking, yeah. It just did not work like that. My page got hacked. I got my last $6,000 and that was it. So I had to take this page that I'm on right now and I had to start creating content again and building this page. So when I started this page, well, not started it, but when I started actually being active on this page often, it has 70,000 followers. And now I believe it's at 107,000 followers. I hit like 100,000 at the beginning of April, I think. So once I hit 100,000, I took a break from the retrograde. I stopped working for that 3-week period. But now I'm back. Obviously, y'all done seen me live like 4 times in the last 2 weeks. Because I want to start going live more just to increase the content load. And then also, I'm doing my lives because I'm doing the mentorships, and I currently have 13 people that I'm mentoring, and we're doing our content together. And one of the biggest things is I have to show up too for myself. Like I can't just talk the talk and not walk the walk. Like I can tell you guys my formula, I can tell you guys how I do it, but I like to show y'all how I do it. I've got 30K followers in a few months. So I work on my own page and I show other people how to work on their pages, and then we work on the pages together. We work on their pages together. I'm the admin of a lot of people's pages right now. Not that I have anything to do with their pages, like I don't touch their pages, but when we do our FaceTime mentorships and our one-on-one video calls, I always have them, add me as an admin so that I can show them exactly what to look for, what to look at, how to troubleshoot stuff, because content creation is not easy. And then if I show up every day, it allows people to kind of understand consistency and the importance of consistency. And I understand that life happens, so I'm not hard on people like I used to be. But yeah, so we do the content creator mentorship. I teach you how to edit. I teach you how to edit your content. I show you all the stuff that you should buy so that you can record quality content, and it's less than $100. And I show you how to use your equipment. I show you how to create your own logo. I show you all the apps that you need. I show you how to edit. Just making quality content so that you can start getting paid. So if you don't want to work and you want to be a stay-at-home mom like me, then that's the route that you want to take. I can help you get there. So I've been doing the mentorship for a couple months now, and I really enjoy it. But I can't tell y'all my secret. I got a secret that only my mentorships know. But if any of y'all join my mentorship, you guys will find out the secret, because I talk about it in the group all the time. But like basically the secret is there's really no excuse for not showing up. I go to doctor's appointments. Y'all heard me say this. I've been at doctor's appointments, like 4 of them in the last 5 days, like not including the weekend type stuff. So I've been to a lot of doctor's appointments. My daughter has had a doctor's appointment yesterday with her endocrinologist for her diabetes, and then I had a doctor's appointment today with the dermatologist, and then my daughter has a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Well, not a doctor's appointment tomorrow. We got to go to therapy tomorrow. Tomorrow's therapy, so she goes to her therapy tomorrow, and then on Friday I go to my therapy. So yeah, we go to a lot of doctor's appointments, and guess what? I still got to show up, and I still got to work, and sometimes it means showing up in the middle of the night, and sometimes it means talking y'all hella late, but I still got to do my work, and I still got to show up, and I still got to show the people in my mentorship that it's really no excuse for not showing up. If you have the time, put the time in, because that's how you're going to get the results that you want. So I do guarantee monetization within 90 days of completing the course, and then you get to stay in the secret group forever. You have a lifetime mentorship. I've only kicked like 3 people out of the group, and that's only because I swore I wasn't doing payment plans, but I did anyway. I did, payment plans anyway. And then for me, like, I don't like asking people for money that they owe me. So, I'm only going to ask you one time, and then once I realize you're just not trying to pay me, then you can't be in the group anymore, because you haven't paid. And that's not fair to everybody else in the group who has paid full price for the course, and I told them they couldn't do payment plans, but I'll let your ass in doing payment plans. It's kind of like that. So yeah, it's been a journey, but I've been enjoying it, and it's been a blessing to be able to help people get to a space that I'm in, which is being at home and still making the kind of money that I want to make, and not having to leave the house for it, because I got all these kids, and my husband is my 4th kid. So when I say all these kids, it's because I got a lot of kids. but yeah, so I got all these children, and my daughter's diabetic, so I cook all her meals. We don't eat out. I cook all her meals. I have to grocery shop, and I gotta do mom stuff. So, but I still get to get on here when everybody's asleep and make some money. So it's a blessing, and I started the mentorship so that I could teach people. And what triggered it was I see, like, literally every week, every day, people being like, I don't want to do nails no more. And I don't think that people don't want to do nails anymore. I think people are tired of being underpaid and undervalued. I think people are tired of the drought that nail technicians are currently going through. And I know that these TikTok and Instagram nail techs make it seem like, oh, it's so much money in the industry right now. It's not. And that's just me being completely honest with you. There's not. Since COVID happened, COVID really messed our industry up. We have a lot of technicians who are in this industry who are like, they're not licensed. They don't plan on being licensed. They don't go to school. They're not planning on going to school. And so it kind of put a dampen in our industry, because these same people who are not qualified are charging the same as people who are qualified. So people who are qualified, they went up. And then also nail supplies went up. Nail supplies went up so much, it's not even funny. So a lot of people they don't not want to do nails. They just want to afford to be able to do nails and still be able to, like, love on their kids and make their own schedule. Like, this shouldn't be a slavery job, but it feels like slavery when you're in a drought. And so I don't think these women want to quit because they don't love nails anymore. I think these women want to quit because they want to make the kind of money that they want to make, and nails just ain't doing it for them anymore. And if you love nails for real, you're going to make it work. And it's not about the money, but this is America and this is life, and we all need it. We need money. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, we love nails and we got a passion for it or whatever, but we need the money too. Some of us are broke. Some of us, we're going broke, and it makes you not want to do nails anymore, because it's like, what am I sitting here in the salon every day for? And I'm in a drought. Well, what if you were sitting in that same salon every day and you were doing your own nails, or your daughter's nails, or your sister's nails? Y'all know some women whose nails you can do for free or for some content purposes. And what if I taught you how to make a video, 1 3-hour video, and chop it into 50 different videos and make money off of every single one? That sounds good, right? And then guess what? you don't have to do nails because you're getting paid from Facebook and you're getting paid from, you know, Instagram and all these other different. I mean, we just live in an era where online you can get your money. So if you can get your money online, what's the point of leaving the house to go and get it? What's the point of spending all this money to advertise and get clients coming, and it's not working when you could just be at home and getting the same amount of money? So that was the whole point of the mentorship. I saw a lot of people quitting nails, and I'm like, y'all don't want to quit nails for real. Y'all don't want to get real jobs for real. Y'all want to do nails, but it's not fruitful right now, and I get it. Totally get it. We have to put in so much more work to make money doing nails, and some people are putting in the work, but some of us ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not buying business cards, y'all. I'm not doing that again. I'm in 13 years in. It's time for me to make my money some other kind of way if I still want to be in nails. Like, I went from doing nails to opening C-tones, and that took me away from doing nails. And then when I left C-tones, I went back to content creation. And had I not went back to content creation, y'all, it would have been bad. It would have been really bad. So, I don't know. This is just, it's what I love to do, and I don't want to stop doing it. And I want to make my own money. And I enjoy teaching. So I get to teach people how to do what I do and just have some type of financial freedom that they, you know, probably didn't have before the mentorship. And I don't know, that's how I get my gratification. I know a lot of us do nails because we love making people feel good. Well, I love helping people make money. So that is what the mentorship is about. So it's just a secret group on Facebook. Well, it's not a secret group, not no more, but there's a group on Facebook that, you know, it's private. I wouldn't say it's secret. It's private. So anybody can't just get in there. You got to pay. And then, I was going to complete the ebook simultaneously, but this takes a lot out of my schedule. Me talking to people and FaceTiming people every day, Zoom calls every day, teaching in the group. It does take a lot of time away from me even doing my own content. So I have to do it kind of at the same time. And so the ebook it had to take a backseat. But I am still working on it. I still work on it every day. But I thought it was going to be done way sooner than it is. But the more that I teach people, the more strategies that I come up with. And I learn a lot from my students. I learn a lot from the mentorships. I'm the only one teaching, but, you know, my students teach me every day. I learn something new. We come up with we actually came up with like a TikTok strategy. I never had a TikTok strategy. I only had a Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram strategy. I never had a TikTok one. So, we were trying to figure out ways to kind of beat the system when it comes to like sounds and stuff on Facebook and copyrights and stuff. And so we created together an entire like TikTok strategy that helps you build your TikTok while still getting paid from Facebook. And I don't know, it's like just super cool. Like, so the mentorship, it's changed a lot. Like, I knew what I wanted to teach, but then as I've been teaching, people have been teaching me stuff, and I've been dealing with a lot of different stuff with different pages. So I just keep adding to my strategy, so there's more to add to the ebook. So I've like my first page of the ebook, I think I've done it like it's 50 different first pages, because it's like, oh, well, I got to add this. Oh, okay, well, this person's page needed this as well when we first started. So I was just going off of my own strategy, but because I've been working on other people's stuff, I've been creating more strategies and new strategies. And so it's been really, really cool. It's been fruitful, and I'm super blessed. I feel like I'm blessed because I'm able to help people do something. I don't know, like my whole purpose is like, if you got kids, like, and you don't want to work, girl, let me help you. Let me help you. The class pays for itself once I get you monetized. But I don't know, the life that I live, I feel like if my nail tech sisters got the opportunity to do the same thing, or knew how to do the same thing, or had somebody holding them accountable to do the same thing, it's like, why wouldn't you? Like, I don't know. We all want extra time with our kids. Like, I wouldn't be able to go to all the doctor's appointments. I probably wouldn't even be able to like go to therapy for myself, let alone for my daughter. If I had to work. And I don't want to call nobody and be like, I'm not coming in today. Or I don't want to have to cancel appointments and stuff like that. So like, you know, I will always love doing nails, but at the end of the day, we got bills. We have bills and we have to figure other stuff out sometimes. And so that's what I did, and I enjoy teaching people how to do that. So no, I don't take payment plans, but I do work with any budget, and I allow people to change their minds. So if you want to start off really small and then build up your budget, that's totally okay. If you want to pay a certain amount now and then, you know, try it out and then later, you know, do something different, that's okay too. So I just like working with people, because honestly it was going to be for free, but one of my nails tech sisters called me. She called me on my phone. She said, bitch. She didn't say bitch, but she was like, girl, you're not giving nothing away for free. You thought. She was like, no, you're not. All the money and the gems that you're about to drop on these people, and like the position that you're going to put people in, she was like, you're not doing that for free. I'm not going to let you do that for free. So I got where she was coming from. I got where my big sister was coming from, and I heard her, and I was like, you know, you're absolutely right. She was like, you're not giving that stuff out for free. She's like, you the one who taught me not to give out stuff for free. So now I'm about to sit here and watch you give out all this information for free. And I was like, you right, sis, you right. So I had another nail technician reach out to me personally, and she was like, look, I don't want to wait for the group to open. I want to do my mentorship now, and I don't care if it's just me. She's like, so whatever you want to be paid, tell me. So I was like, well, what's your budget? She was like, I don't care. Like, whatever you want to be paid, you tell me, and then we're going to start. So I was like, okay, well then I'll make a little price list or whatever. So I did. And then I immediately got people signing up, and I thought it was super cool. I always knew that I would have less than 20 people, because I knew that, you know, it's always going to be a big hype. I've known this in C-tones. There's always going to be a big hype. But then once you start mentioning how much something costs, or that it's not free, you know, you go from 200 likes to, 10. So, so there's currently 13 mentorships in the group, and I think that's perfect, because that's low-key all I can handle. It's low-key all I can handle. Only because I was only supposed to take 6 in the first place. And I was only supposed to take 6 for 90 days. And then after that 90 days with that group of people, I was going to take in more people. But yeah, it just did not work like that. I ended up taking 13 people. And, I ended up taking 15 people. And then kicking a couple people out the group for not paying. But other than that, yeah, it's been a blessing. And then I've gotten the chance to help people with things that don't even pertain to the mentorship, really. Like, I got to help somebody recently with their website. I mean, I didn't do the work for the website, but I got to help this person, like, kind of understand the website. Like, somebody had, like, taken over their website and did some weird stuff on it. So, like, instead of talking about the mentorship that day, we was on FaceTime, we were on Zoom talking about like how to get the website back and how to fix the website. And then I was like, F him, like, we just gonna make a new website. Like, it ain't hard, I'm gonna show you how to do it. I didn't even have to show her. She already kind of was like playing with it and getting it together. So it was super cool. Like helping her do that, troubleshoot that. And so it's not just about content creation, but like I help with everything. I really do. It's just been a blessing. And I feel like that's like God blesses me because I have a heart to do this for other people. I don't mind sharing my strategies. I don't mind telling people how I got to the space that I got in. And I love showing people results because there's so many people out here who are doing what I'm doing or claiming to do what I'm doing, and they're not giving any results. So I always do my own page first to show y'all, like, I'm already doing this. I've already done this a couple times. So if I can't do it for myself, how can I do it for you? So I make sure that I keep my own page intact, and I keep building my own page. Because, again, I had 700,000 followers before I got hacked, and now I have 100,000. So I'm 600,000 followers short, and I don't like that. I'm not cool with that. So I got to get my 600 followers back, 600,000 followers back. And not just that, I want 1 million this time. I'm trying to hit 1 million. Only reason why the big page didn't hit 1 million was because I got shadow banned. And I got shadow banned because I kept talking about Breonna Taylor and her being executed in her sleep in her home, and they ended up having the wrong people. They killed the wrong person. They came into the wrong house. And so, and I don't think anybody got indicted. I don't think anybody got in trouble for it. I do believe the city paid her family out. And that's when I shut up. Because I don't like when people take payouts over justice. But that wasn't my family. But I was going hard, y'all. Every live, I was like, y'all, call up Louisville, Kentucky, and let them know that this ain't right. And man, Facebook banned me so darn quick. I wasn't getting no views, no likes, nothing anymore. So it's kind of like social issues they don't want you talking about. Like, shut up, girl, do nails. So that's kind of what happened, and that wasn't fun. I lost a lot of income behind that. All for the family to take a loss, to take a settlement, and accept that nobody was going to be held responsible for their child's death. Again, that's not my business. That wasn't my family, but like, I was going hard as if it was, because that shit was wrong. I don't care. But yeah, so that page got shadow banned. And when it got shadow banned, that just prevented me from ever hitting 1 million. So I could do it this time around if I can avoid getting shadow banned, because I talk too much. But I know this sounds crazy, but I'm not speaking on social issues no more. Like, the way that ended, it really hurt my feelings that they took that money. Like, heck nah. Like, I want somebody to go to jail for this. Like, my baby is gone. My baby is gone, and it was on accident. Like, I think it was Chris Rock who said it in like one of his stand-ups, but he was like, certain jobs you can't make mistakes on. Like, you can make certain mistakes in certain jobs. Like, if you work at Amazon, you can make a mistake at Amazon. It ain't gonna kill nobody. If you work at the gas station, you can make a mistake at the gas station. If you're a pilot, you cannot make mistakes. You don't have room for error if you're a pilot. If you're a cop, you don't have room for error to be accidentally shooting somebody when you at the wrong house. You're raiding the wrong house. There's no room for error there. You don't get to mess up that job. So it's kind of like that. Like, you can't be a bus driver and you're drinking, or like whatever the case may be. So I don't know, that it hurt my feelings as if she was really my family. But at the end of the day, she wasn't. And her family felt like, they got what they needed. They got what they wanted. And at the end of the day, it is what it is. So I got quiet because I lost my income, going hard behind it, and they got some income behind it. So I guess it's cool. Guess it's cool. Let me show you guys the picture again of Rihanna. I got so many pictures in my phone. How many pictures y'all got in your phone? Okay, so I did a lighter green because I don't have a dark green acrylic. So I did a lighter green. Oh, well, I mean, I guess, well, my green is lighter. It definitely is lighter, but it looks good with the picture. And y'all see the whole thing I'm going for. I wish I had a darker green, but I actually don't have a darker green acrylic. So I had to lighten up my green polish. So I'm just going to keep on doing flowers for you guys. I'm using a number 2 brush. Don't call me a gatekeeper. So, like, y'all know, if y'all know me, if you guys have been watching me for all these years, because I've been going live since 2018. But if you've been watching me for all these years, y'all know I don't care. It's enough money out here for everybody. I have no secrets in this game. But my whole thing is I tell you guys to go to a Vietnamese nail supply because that's where I get most of my stuff from. If it ain't from C-Tones, it's from a nail supply, or it's like my gel polishes are from Amazon. Like, I'll drop a link. That ain't no issue. I have no problem doing that. And I don't get paid for none of this stuff no more. Like, I used to have an Amazon storefront. I probably still got it, but I don't get paid for that stuff. So I still advertise things that I don't get paid for. But I go to nail supplies, and I've been doing this for 13 years, y'all. I've been licensed for 13 years. Excuse me. So because of that, a lot of my stuff is old. This brush is a number 2 brush. Boom, bam. So you see number 2. It's an identical brush. One is darker than the other because, you know, it's got a lot more wear and tear on it. And you can see from the bristles, the one on the left looks brand new, and the one on the right, I done flat iron this brush, all types of stuff. But this is the only acrylic brush, 3D acrylic brush that I've ever used that works flawlessly. And I got this from a Vietnamese nail supply. And I am not lying to y'all when I tell y'all that I got these brushes in 2013. 2013, what year is it? It's 2024. That means I've had both of these brushes for 11 years, and I have not used another 3D acrylic brush. I've tried other 3D acrylic brushes, but they do not work the way that these ones do. And I have yet to find one that works the way these ones. And I'm so blessed and lucky that I have 2 of them, because if one of them really, really messed up and I was never able to use it again, I will be out. I'll be shit out of luck, and I'll be searching high and low for a 3D acrylic brush. And I probably call up my suppliers in China that helped me create the C-Tones brush. I would call them people up, and I would send them one of these brushes. I would be sad to do it, but I would send them one of these brushes and tell them that I needed identical. And then, you know, who knows how that's going to go, because it took me almost a year to create the C-Tones brush. And for those of y'all who have it, I know it still works, and I know it's still a good brush because I still have all my brushes. And look at the look at the handles. The handles are shot to shit. The handles look so bad. But these bristles, though, these bristles don't play. That's the best quality fiber that you can find in an acrylic brush. That's why we had to sell it for so much, because we had to purchase these for a lot of money. So we had to sell them for, you know, so that we can at least make a profit and we could buy the brushes again. And then since they're all handmade individually, it took them months to produce them for us. And so it was a lot. And then, man, the supplier lied and said that the guy who made them died, and that we had to redesign the brushes and all this stuff. So that's why we never had a restock, like a big restock. But for those of you guys who did get the C-Tones brush, I know y'all still working with that C-Tones brush, and I know that it still works great, because we released it in 2019, so it's been 5 years and it's still kicking. But yeah, so these are number 2 brushes. I got them from a Vietnamese nail supply. I do not know which one. I have not found it since. I've been on the hunt for it, y'all. I really have, but I can't find it. And I wish that I could find it, or at least duplicate it, because I wish that I could teach my students on this brush. Whenever I have nail students, I give them in their kit a 3D brush from Amazon or a 3D brush from the nail supply, and it's still not the same as mine. So it kind of feels like false advertising, because, like, I don't know, I always tell people, like, if you got a good brush, then it'll work. If you don't have a good brush, then nothing you do works. It don't matter how good your technique is. It's not going to work if your brush is not good. So this is how I got these really extremely detailed flowers, is because I'm using a number 2 brush. The only brush that I feel like can compare a little bit with this brush is the Mia Secret number 4. So if you can find, because I got that one from a nail show in 2018 when I was pregnant with my son. So I got that at a nail show It's a Mia Secret number 4. And dang, I wonder if I have it with me. I don't know. But yeah, that's the only brush that has come close, but I don't use it because why would I use it when I got this one? I know, crazy. I'm spoiled. But so yeah, so I know that there are good 3D brushes out there. I just haven't found one better than this one. And that's just the honest to God truth. This is my baby. See, Trinity was like, she went to a Vietnamese nail school and they got the best brushes. They really do. They got the best products. You got to think, like, these people been in our country. Oh, I'm so sorry to say it like that. I don't mean to say it like that. Like, this ain't our country. Hell, this is barely our country, and we built it. But you know, these people have been here for decades and decades and decades and decades. And at one point, they were the only ones doing nails. So, and they only shop with their people. They don't shop with us. You think, like I say, you think they call in Kiara Sky and order from Kiara Sky? They are not. They are shopping with their own people. And so when you open up a nail salon and you got a nail salon on every corner, Vietnamese nail salon on every single corner, well, how are they going to get their products? They're going to go to other Vietnamese people who opened up nail supplies. And at the end of the day, they get all their products from overseas and they know what they're doing. And I feel like that's what made C-Tones stand apart from a lot of these different companies, because a lot of these big companies, y'all, ain't no nail techs there. They don't have nail techs. These are just people, and it's usually men. That's the crazy part. It's usually just men with a lot of money, and they made an investment into a billion-dollar industry, which is nails. And they were smart for doing so. But they not no nail techs for real. They don't know what a nail tech needs, what a nail tech wants, what a nail tech likes, how a nail tech needs their product to move, or whatever the case may be. They just put their name on something, or they just put their money behind something, and that's what it is. So what made C-Tones different was we were nail technicians. My mother went to nail school with me. When I was 17. I was 17 and I was pregnant, and my mama went to nail school with me. So my mother is also licensed. She's never practiced. Like, my mom owned a nail salon, but she didn't work in her nail salon. My mom had a regular 9-to-5, y'all, and she owned a nail salon, and she had a nail license, but she didn't work in the nail salon at all. She would come and she would like clean up. and occasionally, like, somebody would know she was the owner and like beg her to do their nails or something. But like, no, my mom is a nail technician, so she understands how these products flow and stuff like that. So that's what made us different. We were a woman-owned company, we were a Black-owned company, and we were also nail technicians. We wasn't just putting money into something because, you know, it was a good industry to invest in. We were nail technicians, and we were helping other nail technicians. So I believe that's what made us stand apart, because there's a lot of companies out here, big companies that every single one of y'all know about, but they're ran by men, and men who are not nail technicians. And some of these men literally only learn how to do acrylic application just so they can make it seem like they're nail technicians. But those dudes who you know, be online and showing you all these videos of their products and doing these cute little designs and stuff, those two men who owned that company, that big ass company, those two men used to be firefighters. They were never nail technicians. The only reason why they got into the nail business is because their family was already into the nail business. So they, being firefighters, joined the nail business as well. And so they knew enough about acrylic to, you know, be able to show you guys how to use it. But they were never nail technicians. Never. Now, they have a good product. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. They got a great product. I used it before I had C-Tones. So they have a great product, but at the end of the day, it wasn't created by nail technicians. My company was created and ran by nail technicians, so it made us stand apart. It made us different. So a lot of like the things that we did, like the brushes, I was not gonna put my name or C-Tone's name on a single brush unless that brush was going to last you forever and it was going to be a good brush. So the way that I designed the Cetone brush, or when I got the Cetone's brush back, when they finally like finished it, I sat it in acetone overnight. If you can't sit your brush in acetone overnight and revive it the next day, it's a bad brush. I swear that's the truth. Try it. No, don't try it if you can't afford to buy a new brush. But yeah, if you got any doubts about how good or bad your brush is, soak it in acetone overnight. Get a dapping dish, sit it in acetone overnight. That's a big no-no, right? You know why they tell us it's a no-no in school? Because they give us cheap brushes that will not survive acetone. But if you have a good brush, that brush is going to survive monomer, acetone, alcohol, soap. There is nothing that you cannot put on that brush that you can't revive it from. And so that's how I designed the Cetone's brush. And I need to make a post soon though. Like, if you have a nail supply, listen, I'm not jealous and we ain't in no competition. One, because I ain't got a nail supply no more. But I do have people contacting me often like, okay, I'm trying to get back into nails, but there's no Cetones no more. And I'm like, okay, there's still Cetones. You just don't want to use Cetone. Just say that. You just don't want to buy from Cetones no more. Just say that. But Cetones is still up and kicking. So if you really, really like the product, just buy the product from Cetones. But if if you're trying to be loyal to me, which, hey, I stand with you. But if you don't want to purchase from Cetones, people are like, hey, where can I purchase from? And I keep telling them, go to the Vietnamese nail supply. And people are swearing that they don't have one in their city, and that's not true. Or they don't have one nearby, and that's not true. So because of that, I don't know. I mean, I have so many Cetones products that I have not used anybody else's stuff. So I can't tell you to go use so-and-so stuff. I can't tell you to check out this line because I haven't used it. The only ones that I have used are popular lines. Young Nails. I don't use Kiara Sky. I use Kiara Sky polishes, and I'm very picky about their polishes too. And I don't use no D&D. D&D is cheap. I use their polishes, but I don't use anything else. I use their tips too because I found their tips at the Vietnamese nail supply. When it comes to acrylic, I would say Creation, but Creation is found at a Vietnamese nail supply. So, and all over the world. I mean, not over the world, but all over the country. So, I really don't know who to refer these people to because people were asking me for suggestions on where they should buy nail supplies from, and I'm just like, y'all, I can't help you because I haven't used none of these people's stuff. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, use so-and-so stuff because it's good. And then I ain't gonna lie, like, there's a couple nail suppliers out there that when I was a nail supplier, they were trying to shit on me. Or like one girl specifically, and it ain't no bad blood, it's just the honest to God truth. I'm not even gonna name her. But she had this big group, and she was letting, anybody kind of like advertise. At the time, it was only like me and like 2 other people advertising, and it wasn't a big deal to her. But then she became a brand ambassador for one of the other companies that was advertising. And I don't know if they told her she had to do this or she just decided to do it on her own. But once she became a brand ambassador for the other company, she no longer allowed me to advertise in her group. And I was advertising in her group like every day. I was big on Cetones. So I understood, like, okay, whatever, you're working for this company, so it's a conflict of interest. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not happy about it, but I get it. But then I noticed that she was allowing other companies to still advertise. They weren't as big as Cetones, but she was still allowing people to advertise. So it just kind of felt like that company's owner was like okay, anybody can advertise, but stop letting C-Tones advertise in your group if you're going to be my brand ambassador type deal. So I just kind of felt slighted because I saw other people still advertising, but then the rule only applied to me that I couldn't advertise. And I just thought that wasn't cool. So I exited out of the group. I didn't make a fuss or anything. I exited out of the group. And then I don't know what happened between her and the company, but she does not affiliate herself with that company anymore that she was going so hard for. And then now she has her own, which is cool. Now, had she not tried to shit on me like that and stop my business, I would totally tell y'all to go and use her company. But I'm not built like that, that I'm about to sit here and advertise somebody who tried to slight me and then gaslight me and try to make it seem like, oh, we still cool. We still girls. No, we're not girls. And then there's like other companies too or whatever, well, like, you know, little small businesses that have acrylic too. And then they're like clicked up in the nail industry and they're rude. And, you know, I may not be competition anymore, but I don't forget that stuff. And I don't think that was cool, like trying to kind of shit on my company. And there's like another person who had a really big group, and then she tried to start a company and it failed and all this other stuff. And it's kind of like, if we could have worked together, we literally could have worked together. Or even now that I don't do C-Tones anymore, any of these people could have sent me their products and been like, well, since you're not advertising for C-Tones, can you advertise for me? I would have been like, hell yeah, girl, of course. Send me some products and I'll be your brand ambassador from now on. I'll put your products on. When people ask me where to get stuff, I'll be using your products. But because people try to shit on me because I was competition, yeah, I'm not going to forget that. I ain't got to forget that. And I'm not going to forget how people were acting like they were girls, or still acting like they're girls, and they're just clicked up and then sending people to my page, friend requesting me and all this weird stuff. And y'all, like, that's not, I don't know. It's just catty and goofy and annoying to me. And it's like, all I was trying to do was make some money to feed my kids. I was just trying to make a company to pass down to my children. I was never trying to be in competition with any of you guys. It's too many acrylic companies. That's like me saying, oh, I'm in competition with Young Nails. How? That's a different company. That's a completely different company. I use Young Nails, or I used to use Young Nails and C-Tones at the same time. So it was kind of like, I ain't got no beef with them people. Like, they're making their money because their customers like their products, and I'm making my money because my customers like my products. And we have some of the same customers. Some people like their monomer, they don't like my monomer. Or they like my acrylic, but they don't like their acrylic. So, but, you know, they shop with them for certain things and they shop with me for certain things. Like, there's enough money out here for everybody. And I don't know. I just didn't think that was cool. So, like, if you were one of the nail suppliers that did not shit on me when I had my nail supply, I would be more than happy to advertise for you. I'll be more than happy to tell people, like, okay, C-Tones is not a thing anymore, but so-and-so has great products. But again, I'm not going to be advertising your products if I've never used them. I just don't. I advertise what I use because I don't want to have my name attached to something that people don't like or companies that are unreliable. That's just what it is. When I have the big nail group, that's 17,000 members. When I had the big nail group, there were certain people that I did not allow to advertise. Not because I was jealous and not because there was competition, but because there are some people out there, and y'all know exactly who I'm talking about, who are scammers. And they scam the nail industry like crazy every year. And there's a specific one. He hate my guts, y'all. He hate my guts. But there's a specific company that... there's a specific well, not a company, he's a nail tech, but he had a company, or maybe he still has one, I don't know, but he was scamming. People wasn't getting their products. He was doing like these weird DVDs and all this stuff. He hate my guts. I don't care. We got into it on Facebook. I don't care, because you're a scammer, and I told everybody that you was a scammer. Well, I didn't tell everybody you was a scammer. I said, my exact words were, LOL, why y'all let this man scam the nail industry every year? I said that, and then I got offline. And when I got back online, it was like 30-something comments, 40-something comments. like, oh, we know exactly who you're talking about. And then people started tagging him. But I didn't anticipate it to go down like that. I was just writing a status talking mess. But I didn't tag him. But because he's a scammer, everybody knew exactly who I was talking about. I didn't have to tag him. I never had to say his name. So he ended up coming on my post. Ooh, he went off on me. And so I took it to the inbox. It's like, let's not do this in front of all these people. So I took it to the inbox and I was like, listen, I did not mean for people to come for you. Like, I really just, I wrote my status and I got offline. I didn't even monitor the status. And when I got back, everybody was tagging you and stuff. And I never even mentioned your name once. And he's like, but you set up this status for all these people to drag me. No, I didn't set up a status for people to drag you. I was trying to figure out why people were letting you be a scammer every year. And they're still buying products from you. Like, you're still preying on nail technicians. And I was like, and you know what? You're in my city. So since you're in my city, because he was visiting, because allegedly something was wrong with him, but he wasn't in my city for real. He was lying. But I was like, since you're in my city and we're nail techs and I'm not competition with you, like, and you swear you're not a scammer, let's go out to eat tonight. Let's go have dinner. And, it's my treat because you're in my city. Let's go have a conversation and let's figure out why people are thinking this way about you and why you're coming at me because other people are coming for you. So he declined it. He was like, bitch, I don't want lunch from you. But yeah, he didn't come to the meeting, the sit down, because he wasn't really in my city. But recently he has popped back up. He done popped up on my TikTok. He done popped up on my Instagram. And I'm pissed because I'm like, this fool been dormant. Either he been dormant because I blocked him, or he been quiet just because he's a scammer and he has to be quiet for a little while before he can start scamming people again. But yeah, he done made new pages and stuff. And now he all over my page again and people sharing his stuff. And I be getting irritated. I be blocking all those pages like, y'all weird. Here y'all go letting this scammer do what he do. But, yeah, like, so I would understand people like that not dealing with me. Because I didn't shit on him, but I did end up shitting on him because I wrote that status and other people knew who I was talking about, even though I didn't have to tag him. But that ain't my fault that everybody look at you as a scammer. I could have been talking about anybody, but yeah, it was bad. So yeah, I got beef with some nail suppliers. That beef though, I asked for it. I really did write a status about that man. So that beef I asked for. But the other beefs though, I didn't ask for those. That was people like being intimidated by my company and just being rude for whatever reason. And then now they want to pretend like they girls and be all on my page and all this weird stuff. And it's like, girl, no, I don't forget. I'm a forgiver, but I'm not a forgetter. And honestly, like my impeccable memory is a blessing and a curse because it's hard to forgive somebody when you cannot forget how you felt when they treated you that way. And it's hard to forgive somebody when you are thinking about how they did you and their intentions behind it. It's not always what somebody did, it's how they did it or why they did it. Like, you can smack me in my face. If we're playing a game, you smack me in my face, that's one thing. But if you smack me in my face because you hate me, that's a whole different smack. So the action is the same, but the meaning behind the action is different. And so that's kind of how I am. Like, it ain't really about what you did, it's why you did it and why you did it to me, especially if I did not ask for it. It was unsolicited. I'm in here just minding my business and advertising my company, and then I get slighted in so many ways. Like, one of the biggest nail groups, I don't know if it's still a thing, it used to be huge, but one of the biggest nail groups, as soon as I started my company, they blocked me. It was so crazy. I was like, dang, like, I'm bringing all this engagement to the group and then you guys blocked me because I opened up my own company. It was like, we as a people, unfortunately, we do have this crabs in a barrel mindset, and I'm not gonna say I don't know why it's that way, because we didn't give ourselves that mindset. That happened because of slavery and conditioning. So I can't be mad at my people. But what I can say is that we're no longer slaves. And we don't have to be conditioned to slight each other anymore and punish each other for doing better than the other, or doing more than the other, or the same thing as the other. Like, girl, we do nails. We both do nails, or we both have acrylic lines. That don't mean that I don't like you. That doesn't mean that that we're in competition. That just means we do the same thing. That's it. Why you hate me because we do the same thing? We literally have a common interest, and you hate me because I do the same thing you do. It was just really weird energy. So when I built C-Tones, as far as like advertising and stuff, I had to do that shit on my own. And I had to do it on my own because people were slighting me. People were trying to block my blessings and block what I had going on, and block my company. And I'm not a spiteful person. I don't wish harm on anybody. However, I'm not going to deal with you if you've mistreated me. And just because I don't wish any harm on anybody, if you mess with me and I didn't do nothing to you, it was unwarranted, I don't have any control of how my ancestors protect me. I have no control over that. If my ancestors don't like what you got going on and they decide to step in on my behalf, trust me when I tell you, I didn't ask them to. I turned the other cheek and minded my business. But you know, when stuff starts falling apart and all this other stuff, it ain't got nothing to do with me, for real. My ancestors, that's just how they are. Like, they're very overprotective. But my ancestors are overprotective of me because I don't do stuff to people. I just let God handle everything. I let my ancestors handle everything, and I just do what I'm designed to do. Like, I'm not designed to be here hurting people. I'm not designed to be here stopping people's flow or their business. That's not a part of my life's mission. My life's mission has always been to help, not harm. And so I'm not spiteful, and I don't ever be so mad that I'm about to do something that's going to mess up my karma. But like I said, I can't control what my ancestors see and what my ancestors do to you. So and a lot of the stuff that has nothing to do with me. Just watch how you treat people. Not just me, but anybody in general, because you don't know what kind of angels people got on their side. You really don't. You don't know who grandma looking out for them and don't play about them. You don't know who's, you know, auntie and uncles is on the other side making sure that person is taken care of. And it's real. So I don't know. That's just me. Those are my beliefs. I don't force them on anybody else. But like I said, I cannot control the way my ancestors show up for me. So, and they always show up. That's why I turn the other cheek, because I really don't have to do nothing. And I feel like once you start getting vengeance on people and you start being spiteful, you're like stepping in and trying to do God's work. Like, karma's karma, and the universe is the universe, and it just works the way it works. We're not God. I'm not God. So when it comes to karma, it is not my job to enact that on anybody. It's not my job to give nobody their karma. That is God's doing and God's doing only. So I'm not a spiteful person. I feel like when you take karma and justice and vengeance into your own hands, God is like, okay, well, you got it. Now I ain't gonna worry about you. You know, they slap you, you slap them back. Now it's over. Karma's done. But if you slap me and I walk away, karma is not over. And now God has control. And when he slap you, it's going to be a lot worse than what I thought to do. So I just mind my business. So, I don't know, y'all. But again, all that to say, for people who have nail supplies or companies, and you guys were really girls towards me, and you weren't mean to me or trying to stop what I had going on simply because we sold the same products, girl, go ahead and drop in, you know, my comments or on my page or whatever, or you can even inbox me and be like, hey, Mickey, like, I have an acrylic line and I think, you know, you would like it, and whatever. And so if anybody asks you, tell them, you know, I got them or whatever. I am going to try your products out first. I'm not going to ask for them for free because I'm just not that. You made your products, and I'm sure you took your time with your products. So I'm not going to get anything for free. But I will definitely use your products on live, or show my audience the products. And then if I enjoy them, then when people ask me like, hey, who has this and this and this that's comparable to cetones, I'm gonna be like, oh, so and so got it, go to this website, because I'm tired of people hitting me up and me not really being able to give them answers. So I would love for somebody who has an acrylic line to step up, tell me what your website is and all that other stuff, and then we can start getting something going so that I can start referring people to you, because there are a lot of people who ain't gonna purchase cetones no more. And so I get it. It took a man to explain it to me, because I was not understanding where y'all was coming from. Like, if the product works and y'all like it, why would y'all stop using it? Because I'm not there. But a man had to explain to me that them people wasn't buying cetones because cetones was just so amazing. Cetones is great, but they loved you. It was you who brought cetones to life. And so if you're not there, cetones is dead to them. And so that I understood. So I get it. I understand. And I ain't mad at y'all. But I would love to have a person that I feel like has great products and a great attitude and great customer service, because I do know companies, like smaller companies, smaller brands that have great products, but they have really bad customer service. Really bad customer service. Like, I'm talking about disappearing for months on people type of stuff. But the products are amazing. And so people still deal with her being so inconsistent because her products really are good. But disappearing for 6 months with people's money is not okay. And so even, I don't care how good your products are, I can't stand behind that. Because if you disappear with somebody's money and I referred them to you, they're gonna be looking at me crazy like, Mickey, you told me that this girl had great products, but I've been hitting her up for weeks and I don't see them. So if you have good customer service, then that's awesome. I'm not going to refer nobody to you, though, if you got good products and trash customer service. I can't. And be doing my people a disservice. But I really am interested. I mean, because if don't nobody speak up, then I'm going to just keep on saying, hey, go to the Vietnamese nail supply. That's where you need to go. That's where you need to be. Hey, Layla. Yeah, I do not do, I stepped away from cetones 2 hours ago. See, I told y'all I'll be having, not 2 hours ago, 2 years ago. I told y'all every time I go live, I actually have to explain this whole spiel to people every single time. Because there are so many people that are out of the loop. Or like who missed, me separating from cetones. So yeah, I separated from cetones 2 years ago. It's been 2 years now. I always have to throw the disclaimer out there. I don't speak to my mom no more. It's been 2 years since I've spoken to my mom. That's not funny, but it is funny because like I have to say that so much, and it's weird to say that because people be like, you're not talking to your mama. What do you mean you're not talking to your mom? And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't talk to her no more. It ain't no bad blood. Well, it ain't no bad blood over here, but it ain't no bad blood. I just don't speak to her, and I just feel like, if y'all want me to be completely honest, it was inevitable. That was always gonna happen. Whether cetones was ever a thing or not, cetones could have never existed ever. And my mother and I would still be in the position that we're in now. Maybe I would have been like, it would have been later on in life, but this is what it is. And unfortunately, I kind of like always knew that this would be what it is. My daddy would be like, but y'all made good money together. It wasn't all bad. And I'm like, oh, so you sound like the same people who think that money is an excuse or it's enough. It's not enough. It ain't enough when it comes to your kids. Your kids don't give a damn about no money, y'all. And y'all know this because y'all got baby daddies who only give y'all, not all of y'all, I'm just saying. But some of y'all got baby daddies who only give y'all child support and they think that's enough. They think that their kid is straight. Nah, you need to show up. You need to pick him up from his doctor's appointment. You need to go to his practice. You need to do this. You're not off the hook because you send him $200 a month. No, you still gotta be a dad. You still gotta love him. You still gotta show up for him. And so it's like, you can't just throw a couple $100s at a child and think that that child's mental health and emotional health is going to be sustainable because you gave them money. You take care of them, and they got food and they got clothes on their back, and you're doing literally the bare minimum that you do for a child. But because there's money involved, you feel like, you're doing your job. But no, you're not doing your job when your child wants to, unalive themselves because they don't feel loved. But they got clothes on their back though, and they got food in the fridge. It's not the same. It's really not. So I really don't like when people kind of approach me with the like, it wasn't all bad because y'all made a lot of money together. Y'all, C-Tones made 6 figures when COVID happened because everybody shut down and we did not. So people trying to figure out where the heck they're going to get their nail supplies at. Y'all, C-Tones is open. That's how it was. So we made 6 figures one year. Well, not our first year, but it was our first year making 6 figures. My first 6 figures when I was my first legal 6 figures when I was 25, and that was a flex. I was super happy, but honestly, like, that doesn't mean anything to me. I'd rather have a good relationship with my mom, honestly. But when you don't have a good relationship with your mother, and you kind of realize sometimes some of us do a lot. It ain't like this for all of us, but some of us do get to a point where we realize that our moms just cannot be what we need them to be. And it may not even be their fault. It may be their own mama's fault. It may be their own daddy's fault. But at the end of the day, I've went through a lot of childhood trauma, but I don't inflict it upon my kids. And when I know that I'm doing wrong as a parent, like I've said, tomorrow my daughter got therapy. We go to therapy because I'm not going to be one of those black moms who just is doing her daughter wrong and coddling her son. I just can't do that. I can't be that. I don't want to be that. All the women in my family are that, and all the dudes in my family ain't shit. None of them do anything. Like, y'all don't do nothing. Y'all just get taken care of by the women in the family. And then all the girls, we got to work. We got to work. We got to hustle. We got to take care of ourselves. We single mom. Well, I'm not a single mom, but like, we're single moms and all this other stuff. But the boys got it made. The boys are fine. And I don't like that. That's not cool. Like, y'all supposed to be working. Y'all supposed to be fixing cars and all this other stuff. Why do I know how to change a tire and my cousin don't? Like, and that's a man. So for me personally, I just want to break that cycle. I want to be different. And I promise y'all, when you're breaking a cycle, you will not have the support of the people who perpetuated it. You just don't. That is what it is. Like, it's very rare that, the person who repeated the cycle with you is going to be like, oh yeah, let's break this cycle together. Now, if that does happen, like if your mama is like, you know what, I see this is ugly and I don't want this to continue with my grandchildren or your grandchildren, so let's fix this. Let's go to therapy and fix this. Now, some of y'all got great moms who actually like reflect and see themselves, but like for those of us who have moms who are like narcissists, a narcissist can't look in the mirror. They literally cannot. They may want to, but they literally cannot see the pain that they're inflicting upon you. And then they turn around and blame you for it. Like, it's your fault. Like, I was told, like, healing is your responsibility. That don't have nothing to do with me. Well, it kind of does have a lot to do with you. I do understand that it's my responsibility to heal. Now, that's never been nobody else's responsibility. However, you're just going to ignore the fact of what I have to heal from. Like, we're going to ignore what was in place. So, and that's what I tell my dad too. I'll be like, Dad, you keep talking to me mad in the fact that I left the family, but y'all wanna talk about my reaction, but nobody wants to talk about why I left. Nobody wants to talk about who did what to make me leave. Y'all only want to talk about I'm gone and I'm splitting up the family. Hell no, we need to talk about why I left. We don't want to talk about that. Y'all just saying I messed the family up because I'm not here and I took my kids. First of all, these are my kids. That's number one. I'm not using my kids as pawns because they're my children. That's number one. And ain't nobody got to kiss my ass to deal with my kids. Nobody has to kiss my ass to deal with my kids, but you're not going to disrespect me in front of my children. You're not going to touch my children when I'm gone. Not like touch inappropriately, but you're not going to like smack my kids and hit my kids and put bruises on my kids when I'm gone. You're not going to tell people, you know, you're not going to say stuff about me in front of my children. It was bad, y'all. It was bad. And I was accepting it for years. You know why? Because we had C-tones and there was a bigger picture going on. But then when I realized my self-respect is just way more important and I need to figure out who the hell I was, all that had to come to an end. And I had to give up. What did I had to give up to make sure my kids had a better life? I had to give up my money. I had to give up my income. I had to give up my company so that my kids could have better mental health and my kids could have better emotional health. And I did not make a mistake. I don't regret it, and I will go broke any day. I will go broke any day to make sure that my kids feel good and they have an emotional intelligence that wasn't gifted to me. Like my daughter is 12, y'all. She going through it. She really going through it. And then the fact that her father is gone, like her father passed away before she was born, like that's a whole different trauma she got to deal with. I grew up without my biological father, but I had my daddy. My daddy took care of me. My daddy raised me, and I went years without him too. So I understand being a fatherless child, but I don't understand my daddy dying. I don't understand that. So I don't know how to help my daughter because I know how it feels to have my man die, but we just don't understand each other. I don't know how to console my child when it comes to her father because I don't resonate with that. So what do? I go and find her professional help so somebody can help her instead of me acting like, oh, my daughter got an attitude and she my enemy. Like, cause that's how I be feeling, y'all. She be really like going in. And I'd be like, babe, you got an attitude and you taking it out on me and I really didn't do anything to you. And I understand that you're going through stuff and emotion that you don't understand. So girl, come on, let's go to therapy. Let's go talk about it to somebody, because I know that you can't talk to me about everything, especially her father. I've cultivated a unhealthy relationship in that sense, because when I would talk to her about her dad, I would get emotional. And I think I probably scared her, like, dang, I can't talk to my mom because every time I talk to my mom, she's going to start eventually crying and I don't want to make my mom cry. So, like, I think I kind of messed up because I do get emotional, and no child wants to feel like it's their fault that their mom's crying or whatever the case may be. So I definitely had to tone it down and get stronger in my own heart so that I could have these conversations with her without being an emotional wreck and scaring her into talking to me. So we go to therapy, and I believe all Black mothers should go to therapy with their daughters. Because the stigma that we hold is most cultures don't hold that with their moms. That whole oldest daughter relationship in the Black community with their mom, I ain't the only person going through this. I am not the only person going through this, and I won't be the last. But I be blessed. I be telling people, like, if you don't resonate with how I feel, if you never had to stop talking to somebody who gave you life, like, that's a blessing. It's really a blessing. And I hope that you never have to go through what I'm going through or make the decisions that I had to make on behalf of myself and my family and my mental health. I'm so glad that you can't relate. I'm so glad that you don't understand, because it's not fun. And I've had to mourn somebody who is alive and well. And I still have to hear often, oh, just forgive her. Just forgive her. I hate when people tell me that. Don't tell me that, y'all, please. Because just because I'm not dealing with somebody don't mean I haven't forgiven them. You can forgive somebody, but our problem as a community is we feel like forgiveness means reconnection, and it don't. It does not. It doesn't mean reconnection. It means forgive that person for your own sanity and for your own health, and then we can move on. If you feel like you need to reconnect with that person, absolutely. go ahead. But that's, Jesus didn't say forgive him and then go be cool with him again. No, that's not in that Bible. You don't have to reconnect with nobody who disrespected you and misuse your trust and all that stuff. You don't have to reconnect with somebody, but that doesn't, just because you didn't reconnect, it does not mean that you haven't forgiven that person. It just means that you have made a decision to not reconnect. Now, there are times where people go years and years holding a grudge. Again, I'm not holding a grudge. I'm not spiteful. I don't want my family to starve. I did not take C-tones away from my family. I just walked away. I walked away empty-handed from my own company that I owned and I started with my money. I walked away empty-handed and I let my mother have it. And she's had it ever since, and hopefully it's going well, and hopefully she can continue to maintain it until she doesn't want to anymore. My husband thinks that the only reason why she's still maintaining it is she believes that I'm coming back. And so she just wants it intact for when I do reintroduce myself. But the thing about mourning somebody who's still alive is that you mourn them. You literally go through a whole grieving and bereavement process. And when you mourn someone or something, that means that thing is it's no longer here. And I did not go through that whole mourning and grieving process to walk back into that and bring it back to life. I just don't, it's not something I want to do for the rest of my life, you know? Like, I had to make a decision one day, like, we do this all the time. Every few years, we get into it really, really bad. And I storm out and I don't talk to you for a long time. And then we don't talk about it. We don't talk about it. And I just rejoin the fold as if nothing happened. Time passes and I just rejoin as if nothing happened. And then 3 years later, we have a whole nother blow up, and then I leave again, and then I return as if nothing happened after like a few months. And do I want to do that for the rest of my life every 3 to 5 years? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't want to do that for the rest of my life, and I refuse to do that for the rest of my life. And I refuse to do it in front of my children and make it seem like it's normal. That's not normal. It's not normal. It's not cute for your mother to be attacking you. And it's not normal, and it's not cute for you to be cussing out your mom. Now, mind you, I did not cuss my mom out, but I did cuss. I did say some words that I had no business saying in front of my mother. And I did say some things that I should not have said that probably were going to hurt her feelings or did hurt her feelings. However, like, I'm not completely 100% innocent in this situation. I feel like I was triggered, and when I was triggered, I let my emotions get the best of me, and I started regurgitating everything that happened to me in my life type stuff. And she and I were already on the rocks, and it was just bad. So I didn't mean to make my mom feel like she was a terrible mom or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure with my actions and my words and the way that I stormed out and left made her feel inadequate or less than or not good enough. And that was wrong, because I definitely my triggers are not anybody else's responsibility. So I'm going to get triggered. We're all going to get triggered, but that doesn't mean respond in an unhealthy way, in an unhealthy manner. It means you need to heal so that when people say things that maybe or could possibly trigger you, you don't act a full-blown ass the way that I did. I act a full-blown what they say, plum fool. Like, I really went off, and nobody should talk to their mom like that. Nobody should be going up a high octave with their mom. It was crazy. It was inappropriate. It was unacceptable. I would never want my children to talk to me the way that I talked to my mom that day. And I would never talk to my children the way that I was spoken to that day. And so it was just, I'm not innocent, and you know, and neither is she. But for me personally, and this is what I told my daughter yesterday, like, I work on being a good mom because I need you to be a good mom. And I need you to be good to your kids. And I need you to be good to my grandbabies. And I need us to break this cycle. Because unfortunately, y'all, I come from a family of women who hate their moms. I know that sounds bad, but it go back like 3-4 generations for real. It's bad. And like my mom ain't talked to her mama in years. My mom don't talk to her mom. Mom does not talk to her mom. Now my grandma is my best friend, but my mom does not talk to her mother. She does not. And so that is a cycle. I don't talk to her. She don't talk to her mom. And then my great-grandmother, my grandmother's mother, is passed away. But my grandma still talks shit about her to this day. That woman been dead like 40 years. And my grandma still talks mess about this woman because she hates her. And I don't know what the relationship was like between my great-grandma and her mother. Like, it could have been the same thing. But it's ugly. It's an ugly cycle. And it bothers me because I love my daughters so much. I do not want our relationship to look like what my relationship looks like with my mom, or what mom's relationship looks like with her mom, or what my grandma's relationship looked like with her mom. This is an ugly cycle, and I have to stop it. I have to, because it's unacceptable to me that one day my child may not want to talk to me. And, I have to do the work. I have to do the work because I'm not going to keep the cycle going. I refuse to keep the cycle going. And I want my grandchildren, I want my granddaughters to have good mothers. And in order to raise good mothers, I got to be one. I got to show them what this is. So therapy is where it's at for us. That's what we're doing. We're doing therapy where we have professionals involved. And it's been a beautiful experience, and it's been hard, y'all. Therapy is not like, oh, I feel better because I got to talk to somebody. No, sometimes it gets a lot worse before it gets better. But at the end of the day, I know that I'm doing something about it. I'm getting a professional involved, somebody involved that can talk to us and talk to me and coach us into how do we break this cycle? How do we make it better? And the stuff that I've been learning in therapy, y'all, like, I'm so glad I have a black female therapist. I learned some stuff in therapy about like why the cycle is the way it is. And it hurt my feelings so bad, but it was the truth. It was 100% the truth. And it's something that like, it's hard to kind of accept. But in our community, a lot of women don't want their kids. We never wanted to be moms. We made irresponsible decisions and we ended up being mothers. And that did not mean that we wanted the child. We wanted the baby. Now, when the baby got here, we were all happy and in love and all that other stuff. But the initial conception of your child, you did not. Now, I'm not saying y'all. I'm just saying like this is what's going on in what's going on in my family. So my grandmother was born out of very ugly circumstances. My great grandmother was raped in college. She was going to Harvard. She was raped in college by a white man. They took her to the forest and they raped her. My great grandmother got pregnant with my grandmother, and she gave birth to this little half-white, red-haired baby. And she did not love it. She did not want it. And of course you don't, because you just got, this is a constant reminder. She dropped that baby off at her mama's house and kept it pushing. And then my grandmother, I'm all putting all this on blast, but it's my story. My grandmother, she had an affair with her husband's best friend, and she got pregnant with my mom. And so my mom is a product of, my grandma didn't want this baby that she had on her husband. So I'm sure she subconsciously treated her that way. I didn't want you. I don't want you because you are a product of something that I never should have done or I never should have went through. And so my mom dealt with a lot of trauma because she had so many siblings, but she was the sibling that came and was conceived out of, something that was ugly. And she wasn't wanted. That baby was not wanted. And even putting myself on blast. And this is why I go to therapy. I didn't want my daughter. I did not want my daughter. I actually sat there at the clinic with the little robe on and everything, ready to get it over with. And they called me in there and it was like, something's wrong with your insurance, blah, blah, blah. So I left. And I rebooked my appointment to come back later and finish the job. And her father was dead in 2 days. And he never wanted me to go through that procedure. And he stopped talking to me and everything. He was like, if you do that, I'm never going to forgive you. Like, that's my child, and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I don't care. I'm 17. I'm trying to go to college. I got stuff to do. I have a family, and I don't want to do this. So you can leave me if you want to. That's fine. But you ain't leaving me with no kid. And that was June 16th. And I came home and I told him, okay, I didn't go through with it because something's wrong with my insurance. So if something don't change with my insurance, then I'm going to have to go through with this. But I don't want to go through with this. I don't want to do this. I want to finish school. I want to be somebody. And I don't want to have a baby at 17. He was excited. He was all happy. And then 2 days later, he was dead. And I still didn't want the baby. But because he was gone, how could I have done what I was going to do? How could I get rid of that? Especially with that being one of his last wishes. So no, I didn't have my baby because I wanted to have my baby. I had my baby because everybody else wanted me to have my baby. And he was gone, and I tried to honor some wishes that didn't even belong to me. So it wasn't until my therapist asked me, hey, did you know you never wanted your baby? Oh, no. No, I did not know that. Okay, well, do you feel like your grandma wanted your mom? Oh, snap. Then stuff started kind of going together. Well, do you think your great-grandmother wanted your grandmother? Oh, snap. That was an ugly story. It just all clicked. And she was like, yeah, when you don't want a baby, you subconsciously treat it like that because you don't want it. You take care of it. You love it because it came out of your body, but you don't want it. You never wanted it. This was not your choice. It wasn't planned. It wasn't something that you wanted to do. So subconsciously, you treat it that way. You treat the child that way. And I had no idea that that was the issue. And I had to sit with it. I had to journal about it. I had to talk. She said it in front of my daughter. So I had to talk to my baby about it. And, of course, I want her now. I couldn't imagine life without my baby. And she explained that to me too. Of course you want her now. Of course you love your baby. Of course. But you still have to acknowledge how she got here and how you did not want her here in the first place. And that's going to fix a lot of things about the pathology, about the women in your family. Because the first thing, when I told my mom after my baby daddy died, I went to my mom and I was like, I'm pregnant. And she was like, the first thing she said to me, she said, we don't believe in abortion, right? Why would you tell somebody that? That was she basically was like, if you think you're getting rid of this, think again. That is not how our family get down. So she already took that off the table for me. So again, she kind of took my choice from me. And then she was like, the only thing that I want from you is I want you to graduate. That's all I want from you is I want you to graduate. And so I graduated. I graduated early, actually. I was still in high school, but I graduated early because I had all my credits. And I had a 4.2, y'all. I was a good student. I was just fucking. But yeah, they let me graduate early. My teachers were kind to me because they knew what happened to my baby daddy over the summer. And, my baby dad had a lot of friends. And so all the football players and basketball players helped me out and carried my books to class and stuff on his behalf. And they were good to me. And, but I still couldn't shake the fact that I didn't want my baby. I never noticed that I didn't until the therapist told me that. And, I had to deal with that, and it was hard. And it was hard to admit out loud that this wasn't my choice and it's not what I wanted to do. But I did it, and I'm still here doing it. And sometimes I struggle being a mom, and then I get upset with my decision. And it was a lot, y'all. It was a lot of trauma to go through. But, man, it was a blessing to learn that. It was such a blessing to learn that ugly, ugly bit of history. And that was the cycle that we were perpetuating, having babies that we didn't really want. And so we treat them like that. And my mom didn't want me. And I had to recognize that, too. My mom didn't want me. My mom wanted my dad. But my dad didn't want her. So you try to trap somebody, and then that person still leaves, and they leave you with the bag. They leave you with the baby. You don't want the damn baby. You wanted to keep the dude. And so, I was treated as if I wasn't wanted, because I really wasn't. It was a relationship that was wanted, and I was just a product of that. So I had to come to terms with that. A lot of the things that I went through with my mom are not even my mom's fault. So many things that I went through with my mom are not her fault. My mom is a product of something ugly, and my mom is a product of the same cycle that I'm in. So how can I blame her for the way that I was being treated when she was treated essentially the same way? She was the kind of mom that she knew how to be, that she was taught to be. I ain't doing that shit though. I'm not doing it. I have a choice to do it differently, so I choose to do it differently. And I really do feel like God blesses me for that, for recognizing and acknowledging my faults and what I did and what I should have done and what I should not have done. And then now I just take more responsibility for my decisions as a woman, as a parent, as a mother. Before it was like, I just need to heal. I just need to get better. I just need to heal. Well, what do I need to heal from? What do I need to heal from? And so the therapist just put that shit in my face, and it was ugly, and I had to do a lot of work to understand it, to come to terms with it, and to let it go, to release it. And it's been a blessing, and it's been awesome to talk to other women about it, and just share my testimony and my story, because I'm still, my baby is 12. So I got 6 more years in the game until she's an adult. But honestly, like, I don't see my daughter leaving at 18. I hope she don't leave at 18. I hope my daughter stay with me as long as she need to. I hope my daughter stay with me until a man come and ask me and her stepdad if he could take care of her now. I hope that that's how it goes. I don't want my kids leaving at 18. Y'all not grown. If I prepare you well enough, yeah, you should be able to go out there and do your own thing. But only our culture kick people out at 18. Make people get jobs and go out into the real world and fend for themselves at 18. That ain't normal. That's not cool. I used to do so Don Rickles is the voice of Mr. Potato Head. He passed away a few years ago, and when he passed away, y'all, it was big. They lit up Vegas for him. They lit up downtown LA for him. So I used to do his assistant's nails, and she would like tell me like little things about him, because she had been his assistant for like 20-30 years, and she would tell me things about his success story. And one of the things that she told me that I never forgot was that he did not move out of his parents' house until he was 28. Until he was 28 and getting married. And he had his comedy career because he was a comedian at the time, and he was opening up for like Frank Sinatra. Like, he was big. And she was like, yeah, he didn't move out the house till he was 28. And nobody bats an eye at that. One of the most successful, he is the only person in history that Disney pays beforehand. Like, he was that serious that Disney used to give him his money before the movie even started filming. And there's also like this clause that nobody else can be Mr. Potato Head ever, which is super cool, because like his voice is that important and that respected that nobody is allowed to replace his voice, even though he's gone. So there will never be another Mr. Potato Head unless they AI it and keep it as Don Rickles' voice. But all that to say is that was a very, very successful man. And he did not leave his home with his parents until he was 28 years old. And, our people will look at that like, you're not 28 in my house, like that kind of stuff. But, that's beautiful. That's beautiful that his parents let him build his life, build his credit, build his income, build his career, and then tell him, okay, you got all this together, you can leave now. And then when he was getting married, he left. And that's not normal in our community, but I do hope that my children can stay at home until they're ready to leave. I hope that my children don't leave because they're trying to escape me. I hope that my children don't leave because they just can't wait to be grown and be out of my face. I hope that my kids stay as long as they're comfortable. And I don't want to enable them. Like, I still want them to be able to make their own money and focus on their craft and and you know, partnerships and friendships and that kind of stuff. Like, I don't want to enable my kids to be like freeloaders or anything, but I don't want my kids to leave the house until they're ready. If y'all not gonna be ready at 18, that's just life. Like, I wasn't ready. I left because I was in college. I got a full scholarship to a university, so I was in college and I had a child already. So that's why I left. But I was leaving to escape. I wasn't leaving because I really wanted to leave, you know. So I just want different for my kids, and so in order to be different, you have to do different, and you have to look at some ugly things, some ugly pathology, some ugly histories, and you have to be real with yourself. You got to be real with what happened, and you have to, you got to forgive, because a lot of the stuff that you went through wasn't your fault or even the abuser's fault. You have to forgive. But you also have to meet people where they are. And sometimes you have to leave expectations at the door. And sometimes you have to mourn those expectations that people are not going to be who you need them to be. And people are not going to love you the way you need them to love you. But you can still love your kids the way they need to be loved. And you can still be who your kids need you to be. Like, I'm a mom and I'm a wife, and I want to be what's best for my kids, and I want to be what's best for my husband. That is my true desire. And in order to do that, and I have told y'all that before, I have told you guys this before, if you want to be the best mother, best wife you can be, put yourself first. F them kids, F that man, put yourself first. You know why? Because you're the pilot. I mean, if you have a husband, then you're the co-pilot, but you're the pilot. And I tell my husband this all the time: please take care of your mental health. Your mental health is so important, because at the end of the day, you're the head of the family. And if the pilot is not okay, the whole plane goes down. So the pilot is priority. It ain't the kids. It's not the people on board. When they tell you, like when the plane is going down, or when the little mask fall from the plane, don't they tell you to put your own mask on first and then help your neighbor? Why? Because if you help your neighbor first and they can't help you because it's a kid or it's somebody disabled, now you have lost your life helping somebody. So now there's one dead person. Or you could be struggling to put their mask on and you ain't got your mask on, so now both y'all gone. But if you put your mask on first, you make yourself the healthiest that you can be, so that you can help other people. You can help the people on the plane. You can help the other kids, and you got your mask on. So that's the whole point. Put yourself first. You have to put your mental health first. Your kids, you're doing your kids a disservice when you mad at them all damn day, but you making sure they eat good. You're making sure they do this, and you're making sure they do that, but you had a bad day and you haven't catered to yourself at all. You don't know when the last time you catered to yourself. It's so much more to it, y'all, than what I'm saying. But I just want, like, if y'all don't get nothing else from me spilling all my business like this, please understand that you have to take care of yourself. You have to make yourself priority. I know you love to take care of your family. I know you want to retire your mom. I know you want to take care of your kids. I know you want your kids to have the best, and they're supposed to, baby. But at the end of the day, if you're not okay, them kids ain't okay. So it doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at them or whatever the case may be. Your kids ain't going to be okay if you're not. You're doing your kids a disservice when you don't take care of yourself. And I was doing my kids a disservice. I was doing my whole family a disservice because I was taking care of everybody. So many people who didn't appreciate me, didn't even love me for real. Like, why am I paying your rent? Why am I paying your mortgage? Why'd I get your house out of foreclosure? Like, just stuff like that. I was really on one. I was really, different. And I wasn't taking care of myself or my mental health. But then when I went to them waterfalls in Mount Shasta, and I went through that forest and I hugged them trees. True story, y'all. I literally was hugging trees in the forest, and I was crying hugging these trees. And I was releasing. And when I got back from those mountains, I was like, oh, I've been doing all this wrong. I've been doing all this wrong, and now I just feel better about life, and I made a better decision, and it took me to go all the way up there for me to be like, oh, okay, I'm living life wrong, and I'm not living life for me, I'm living life for everybody else, and I'm killing myself doing it. So I'm thankful that God took me somewhere where I had to learn to take care of myself. And now I get to tell other women to do the same. And I don't feel bad about it at all. I don't feel bad telling you to take care of yourself first. Everybody like, oh, your kids and your kids. Yeah, your kids. But what your kids gonna do if you stroke out today because you're stressed out? What are your kids gonna do? What are your kids gonna do if you are so stressed that you have a heart attack? What are your kids gonna do? Don't nobody love your kids the way you love your kids. You're doing your kids a disservice when you don't take care of yourself. Please take care of yourself. Please. If you gotta leave, if you gotta close the door on them kids, tell them shut up, don't talk to me because I'm taking a long bath today, then do that. If you gotta lock your baby in their playpen so you can go take a long shower or take a walk or whatever the case may be, please do it. We be killing ourselves for these kids. Why? That don't even make sense. I'm gonna kill myself and my kids need me? Like, nah. My kids need me to be healthy. My kids need me to love them appropriately. And my kids don't care about no money. My kids don't care about no damn money. My kids want to be with their mom. My kids want to see me grow old. My kids ain't gonna see me grow old if I keep stressing myself out and putting them first. They ain't got no bills. My kids ain't got no bills. I ain't gotta cater to them. Y'all don't have no bills. You guys are fine. Y'all will be okay. Let mommy get some much needed mommy time. I'm trying to dig through all these crystals and find green ones. But yeah, y'all heard my little spiel. Y'all heard me just put all my business out there, but but I don't really look at it as telling my business. I just look at it as just telling my testimony, because I know somebody heard me tonight, and I know somebody resonated with the things that I said and probably are on a different healing process or healing path because of something that I learned in therapy. And that's the whole point. Like I tell my daughter all the time, we're not doing this for us. We're doing this for your kids, and we're doing this for other women so that they can learn how to be better mothers and better daughters and better people, better women. And if we can spread the word just a little bit, then we're doing our part. So, you know, I'm not shy about anything that I went through because it made me who I am, and y'all love me. So you guys love me. So, y'all I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't be the person that y'all know and love had I not went through the traumas that I went through. So I'm not going to say I'm thankful for the traumas, but what I will say is that I don't regret nothing. I don't regret anything, and I'm not mad at anybody. I'm blessed that that therapy was on my heart. I didn't know how to fix it, so I went to therapy. And I enjoy therapy. And my daughter enjoys therapy, and I wish somebody would have took my 12-year-old ass to therapy, because when I was 12, I was in the bathroom cutting myself. So I'm thankful that my daughter's not 12 years old in the bathroom wishing her life away and telling herself that nobody loves her. That was my 12-year-old life. So if I could do it differently, and I have done it differently, I will. And I hope that my son also gets the same benefits of, you know, having a better mom. Having, like, I ain't coddling that boy. No, you're not getting coddled, son. You can still get the same hugs and loves and kisses as everybody else. But you don't get to be coddled just because you're the boy, just because I'm scared of losing you. We be so scared to lose our sons. That's slavery trauma. That's post-traumatic slave disorder. We are scared to lose our sons, so we coddle them. We know our sons walk out the door and may not come back, so we coddle them. And that's not right. It's not right to do them like that and then leave the girls high and dry. But it's just our culture, and I want to do it differently because that's not how it's supposed to be done. We were conditioned to be this way with our kids. We were conditioned to be this way with our families, and that shit ain't cute. It's time to start breaking cycles, y'all. However hard it may be. It's not easy to break a cycle, duh, but it's harder to be in it. It's harder to be in it, and it's harder to watch your kids suffer from it. Man. So that's my spiel. That's my testimony. But for the most part, I hope that you guys at least look into therapy if you need it. Don't be scared of it. It's beautiful. I'm proud of my daughter. Super proud of her, because she learns things in therapy and she brings them home. I learn things in therapy and I bring them home. I get to talk to other women about it, and I get to I don't know, I get to just live life differently than the life that I was given, because I got so much help. Got a lot of help. Now, I had to reach out for that help. It just didn't fall in my lap. I had to want it. I had to need it. And I had to realize that something was wrong. I don't want to be a narcissist. and I do believe that it's true that everybody is a narcissist until they heal. Everybody is out for themselves until they heal. And ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you can admit it, as long as you can join the healing process and the healing journey, ain't nothing wrong with being unhealed and working on getting there. So I don't know, y'all. If y'all in cycles the way I'm in a cycle, then you have every. I mean, this is look at our world. Like, we're in a time where you literally you got access to everything. You got access to so much stuff. It ain't no reason to be repeating these cycles when we got access to healthcare that our grandmas didn't have access to, our mamas didn't have access to. We have access to therapists who our mamas told us therapy made you crazy. Therapy was for crazy people. Man, I think it was my mom who said this to me, but maybe it had to be years ago. But she said, when you break your arm, you go to the doctor, right? You go to the hospital. When something is wrong with your teeth, you go to the dentist, right? You go to the dentist's office and you get your teeth fixed. When something is wrong with your mind or your head, where do you go? You go to the therapist or you go to the psychiatrist, because that's who's supposed to work on your head when something's wrong with it. So that's the thing. There's always a point in time where something may be wrong with your head. And who do you need to go and see to get your head right? Go see a therapist. That doesn't mean you're crazy. That doesn't mean you're anything. If anything, it means you're strong and you're brave. Because our people really are against therapy, and I don't know why, because we need it the most. we need it more than any other culture. We really need therapy. So yeah, don't be scared of it. And honestly, like, it's a game changer. It really is. Like, my house is different. My house operates differently. And I didn't have a lot of hope. I was just bracing myself like, dang, my daughter gonna hate me one day, just like I hate my mom, and my mom hates her mom, and my grandma hates her mom. But it really ain't hate. It's trauma that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be extinguished. And so if you got trauma, go and let somebody help you fix it. You don't have to live in that and suffer in that forever, and you don't gotta pass it on to your kids. Oh shoot. Yo, I got this from Amazon. I don't like it that much, for real. But I'm not picky about glue. And I don't have my spray with me though. It's at the shop. But I'm not picky about glue. As long as it's a brush on glue. This is from Amazon though. Glamnetic. That's what I'm using. And then this is from C-Zones. Dang. Lita said she was, you were emancipated at 16. Man, I wish I was emancipated at 16. I got kicked out When I was 16, I got kicked out on Christmas Eve. That was my emancipation. And then I went and stayed with some friends for a couple of weeks. And thank God for these friends. I'm still blessed to have them. And I'm blessed to have their parents, because their parents just let me live with them for a few weeks. And rest in peace to their parents, and God bless their souls, because they really took care of me and like I was family. But then my auntie came and picked me up, and she took me to my grandma. She was like, you cannot stay with your friends. She took me to my grandma's. So I was about to, my mom called my grandma and was like, she's on punishment, so she gonna be there. She can't be doing whatever she wanna do. And my grandma was like, this is my house. Like, you're not about to make her life miserable because you mad at her. You kicked her out. You don't have no control no more. So I was supposed to go back home a few weeks later so I could check out of school and then check into school, at my grandma's house, which was hours away. And when I went to my mom's to go and check out of school, I feel like my mom felt like I wasn't being punished enough. And she didn't like that. So she made me come back home. She was like, yeah, so I thought about it. And yeah, you can't live with your grandma no more. You have to come back home. And I'm like, and I was boo-hoo crying, y'all, in her face. Like, you're going to make me come back here? Like, you just kicked me out. I've been waiting to get kicked out all my life. Yeah, she made me come back. And I was so sad about it. Like, I was distraught. She talked to me for hours about why I was coming back and why it was God's plan and why I couldn't be there or I couldn't be at my grandma's. Y'all, I don't remember nothing she said. I was distraught. Like, how dare you make me come back here after you made me leave? And I've been on my own all this time, and I've just been happy. And yeah, I was 16 years old. She kicked my ass out Christmas Eve at 2 o'clock in the morning. It was bad. It was really bad. It was bad. And then rest in peace to the boy that I was sneaking out to go see. She called me. She was like, where's my car? And I was like, I'm out getting food. And she was like, bring my car back now or I'm calling the police. And I was like, calling the police? Girl, you tripping. Came back home, bust a little U-turn. I really did go get food because I was getting food for me and a dude. Bust my little U-turn, got home. She came out swinging, and it was just bad, y'all. It was bad. She kicked my ass out. 2 in the morning, Christmas Eve. And I walked to my homie's house, and he was like, girl, you can stay here. Don't trip. You can stay. My parents love you. So I got to stay at my friend's house with his 50 siblings and his parents, and they treated me like family, and they fed me good. And then when my aunties found out I wasn't at my mama's house no more, they was like, no, where is you at? We're coming to get you. So I had to go to my grandma's, and then when my mom found out that my grandma wasn't gonna punish me, she was like, come on so you can get punished. And y'all, when I got home, I didn't have a door on my door was off the hinges. She took the door off in my room, and she was like, something she told me when I came back, she said, you only got 2 more years here. You 16. So either this gonna be the worst 2 years of your life or the best 2 years of your life, but it's your choice. And I was like, bet. We about to have the worst 2 years ever. You made me come back here. And y'all, I did not have a room. I did not have a door on my room, and I was still sneaking in my baby daddy. He was still sneaking in every night, and I did not care. Cause no, I can't have no door. Well then, cool, that's fine. Well then, you're gonna catch me doing stuff because my door it ain't on here. I was rebellious, y'all. And when I be thinking about it though, I be thinking like, oh no wonder my mama didn't like me. Like I was not a good kid, but also like I was struggling. I was going through a lot. I didn't have no daddy. My real dad wasn't around. My stepdad that my mom married when I was 5, but he had been around since I was a baby. He had raised me since I was a baby, but they got married when I was 5. And he ended up leaving my mom for her best friend. And they both served their spouses, which was my mom and the best friend's husband. They served their spouses like on the same day. Like, we're getting a divorce and me and him is getting married type deal. So like, my dad left my mom for her best friend and then married her almost immediately. And then my mom my mom got pregnant by my dad. And then she ended up losing the baby. That was so hard for our family. Because my mom probably thought, like, she was young. She probably thought, like, you know, you're going to come back home because I'm pregnant type deal. But no, she ended up losing the baby. And then that just made everything kind of spiral out of control for real. So it was a lot of trauma. And then because my dad was not my biological father, in the divorce, he tried to get custody of me because he raised me. And because he didn't legally adopt me, he wasn't entitled to any like legal visitation or anything with me. And because my mother was upset with him, she did not allow me to continue like going with him or have any relationship with him. So that was when I was like 10. And honestly, I didn't want to go with my dad anyway because he was now sleeping with my auntie and just married my auntie. So I really didn't want to go back with my dad. Because I was disgruntled. Like, my little sisters were not old enough to understand, but I was. Like, I grew up calling this woman auntie, and now all of a sudden my dad's living with her. So it was really weird. So yeah, so there was a lot of trauma there. And like, my real dad already wasn't around, and he had kind of popped up for a little bit and then disappeared again, and that's traumatic. Like, inconsistent, or I call them yo-yo dads. That was traumatic. So I was just not a happy camper growing up, and I know I gave my mom a really hard time because I didn't understand my emotions and I didn't understand what I was going through. And so I was taking that out on my mother, who was the closest to me. And because she didn't understand my emotions and what I was going through, and she felt like I was being rebellious or mean or whatever the case may be, you know, we became enemies in the same household. And that's how life kind of went for me. So I know I gave my mama a really hard time. I was a really good student though, because I had perfect attendance because I never wanted to stay home. School was like, I needed to go to school because that was my way out of the house. And so I always had perfect attendance. I always had A's and B's and 4.0s and all that. So yeah, so I was a really good student, so that kind of saved my behind. But I don't think I was the best daughter. I'm not the best daughter now, but I'm learning why I wasn't, and I'm learning why I acted the way I acted when I was a child. And then I'm seeing some of the same behaviors in my daughter. But the beautiful thing about it is I don't take it personally, because I didn't shoot her daddy. So all I can do is get her the help that she needs, because I'm not a therapist and I'm not somebody who can really help her navigate the loss of her father. Hell, I could barely navigate the loss of her father from my position. So I had to, I got to just learn. I got to learn. And I mean, I don't know, y'all. I'll just be thankful for therapy. I don't even know why I was like, we got to go to therapy. It was just like, we got to go. This is something that we need. I know we need it. So let's go do it. And it's been beautiful. Like, I don't regret it at all. And I hope that, even if it ain't nothing wrong with her daughter, she still go to therapy with her daughter. My daughters, I hope that they go to therapy with their daughters, because we ain't perfect. We're not perfect parents. We're never going to be perfect parents. There's no manual. And every single person in this world is healing from some type of childhood trauma. Every single person is healing from some shit their parents did. And I know that I fall short, and I have fallen short, and I have failed my children. So I know that, you know, there are things that they have to recover from, and that those things happened by my hand. Not like I beat them or anything, but they happened under my watch. So there are things that I have to, I personally have to help my children heal from, because I could tell my kids all day when they get older, like, yeah, you guys are grown and healing is your responsibility and I did my job, but like, healing is absolutely their responsibility, but if I put the trauma there, then it's only right for me to be accountable and join them in the healing process and let them know that I'm here, acknowledge them, and let them know that I know that I messed up and I apologize for messing up, and whatever I could do to help you and assist you on your healing journey so that you can be a better you and I could be a better me, then I'm here for it. Totally here for it. I'm not absolved from all responsibility. I'm not perfect, and I'll be telling my kids that all the time. Mommy is not perfect, so don't think that I am. Mommy cries. Mommy has her moments. Mommy gets mad. Mommy gets frustrated, and mommy be irrational sometimes. So, you know, I'll be realistic with my kids. That's something like me and my husband kind of don't always agree with, because I'd be like, man, my kids know who I am, because my kids don't like cussing. My kids don't like foul language at all. But I cuss. I don't cuss like a sailor, but I don't censor my words. The only person I censor my words with is my dad. I ain't about to censor my words with my kids. They're my kids. But they do not like, my kids do not like foul language. And they get that from my husband. And so he'd be like, yeah, I'm sorry, kids. Like, I'm going to stop cussing. And I'm not fucking stopping cussing for these kids. Like, I don't have to stop cussing for y'all. This is how mommy talks. This is who mommy is. This is how mommy was raised. Like, I'm not going to stop talking the way that I talk because y'all don't like cussing. Y'all, that's on y'all. Change the channel. So, but I do have my moments where I'm like, you know what? Okay, mommy doesn't have to go that hard. Mommy doesn't have to say those words. So I do try to work on it. But for the most part, I tell my kids all the time, like, look, mommy is who mommy is, and y'all need to know who I am. Like, I think one of the biggest disconnects between myself and my mother is I don't know her as a woman. I don't know her story as a woman. Miss Ayala says that all the time. Like, you need to know your mama's story as a woman, not just as your mother, because that's two different people. And the more you know her as a woman, the more you can understand her and understand why your traumas have been implanted and why they're there. So, like, I want my kids to know me as a woman, not just their mom. Now, I don't divulge too much information. They don't need to know everything. Now, when they're older and they ask, they can have all honest answers. But for the most part, like, I don't have to tell them nothing that's not age appropriate. But yeah, they know who their mama is. My husband be like, don't say that in front of them. Nigga, when these kids be asleep, we be cussing like crazy. So why we gotta stop when they up? Like, they're going to hear cuss words. Like, that's what it is. If they're sensitive to cuss words, that's on them. But, like, yeah, no, I just want my kids to know who I am. I want them to know me, and I want them to know that I'm not perfect, and I am a human, and I have my moments, and I do cry, and I am going to fail them. But when I do fail them, I'm going to be right there to help them fix it. Or I'm just going to fix it myself if I have the capacity to. I don't know. I just think differently about life because of therapy. Thank God. Because I was always worried that I was going to turn into somebody who I know that I'm not. And my dad often tells me, like, you're not going to be your mom. You got too much of me in you. Well, that ain't good. That's not a flex. But he says stuff like that. Like, you can't, you know, you're not going to turn out like that because, you know, you had a dad. You had somebody who stepped up for you. And while that may be true, you know, I still worry because at the end of the day, like, these are still my babies, they're still my kids, and I always know where I come from. I'm not in denial about where I come from and the traumas that I come from. So my dad doesn't believe that, you know, I'll ever turn out like that, and I don't believe I'll ever turn out like that either. But I knew that I couldn't just take his word for it. I had to put in the work. So that's what I've been doing. And the easiest way for me to, like, the easiest way for me to make my decision about putting in the work was my daughter was acting up. And she still be acting up. She still be acting up. But I'm glad that because she was acting up, I didn't look at it as like, oh, we fighting. We hate each other. Because that's how I was treated. Like, oh, you hate me, I hate you too. But no, it's like now it's like, okay, sweetie, like I know that you're going through something and I know that you're hurting. And so mommy wants to teach you, give you the tools that you need so that you don't hurt like this no more. And when you do hurt like this, you exert your energy differently and you don't hurt other people, because sometimes the things that you say to me or do to me, or sometimes your behavior and your decisions, they hurt me because I'm not raising you to be that. And you're making decisions that are the opposite of what you need to be as a woman. You wouldn't want to be that as an adult, and I know you wouldn't. So mommy's trying to help you be different. And so it's been a journey, y'all. That's my first child, so I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm really just winging it. So when I realized we needed some therapy, you know who is like the main catalyst behind me going to therapy? I read it in an interview years ago, years and years and years and years ago. I don't even remember when. It was back when I only had one child though. But Beyonce's mom, Mama Tina. So Solange and Beyonce are 5 years apart. And you know, Beyonce's family is like really spiritual, and they're very, yeah, so you know, they're spiritual. I wouldn't say anything else. Like, I don't know their like actual religion, but they're very spiritual. They're Creole people. And they got a lot of Louisiana going on. So they're just spiritual people. And basically Mama Tina was like, I always knew Beyonce was going to be famous. I knew since she was little. Before she was born, I was told she was going to be famous. So I knew that Beyonce would be famous, but I also knew that my other daughter would not compare to Beyonce. And I knew that she would take that hard at some point. So instead of taking that hard, I had to figure out how she was going to adjust to her sister's fame. So at 5 years old and 10 years old, Beyonce was 10 and Solange was 5, she took them to therapy. She put them in therapy so that Beyonce could learn how to handle her fame and Solange could learn how to handle Beyonce's fame, because she wasn't going to be Beyonce. She was going to be second fiddle to her sister. And I was like, dang, that was such beautiful foresight of like, you know, one of my kids is going to struggle with my other kid's success. And I don't have the tools to make sure that my child doesn't feel slighted or she doesn't resent her sister or me for putting in so much work into her sister's career, et cetera, et cetera. So she sent Beyonce and Solange at the ages of 5 and 10 to therapy. And I always just thought that was just a good idea when I heard it. And so when it was my turn to start healing my kids, that's when I was like, oh, I'm going to be like Mama Tina. Mama Tina took Beyonce to therapy. And then as you guys can see, like, you know, we're not, you know, in on their relationship, but I believe there's enough context that we can understand that Beyonce and Solange are real sisters and they're close and they love each other like sisters and they support each other like sisters. And like, remember at one point, Solange was Beyonce's manager after she fired her dad. So they have a closeness that's beautiful to see with Black sisters, because I don't know how many sisters I have. I got a lot of sisters. I'm not close to none of my sisters. None of them. And I really did try to be. But unfortunately, I just feel like we're just so different. And we weren't really taught to love each other. And unfortunately, like, there's just some things I'm not going to deal with, especially with grown people. And me being not the oldest, but the second oldest, I've been grown the longest. So it's kind of like, I just see adulthood differently. Whereas my siblings are barely kind of stepping into adulthood. Ooh, that's a pretty crystal. Oh, that's a bow. But my younger siblings are just kind of barely stepping into adulthood. So they just don't see life the way I see it, because they're barely adults. They're still young adults. So they're still learning themselves and learning how to treat people. And I'm just a no-nonsense sister. I'm not doing none of that. I'm not begging y'all for a good relationship. I'm not going to tell you guys how to be good people. I'm never going to let nobody use me ever again. I'm not going to let people lie to me, lie to my face, and all that extra stuff. And just like, I got peace to protect, and I got more kids than all of my siblings. So, all right, y'all. I know I've been talking, but that's because these crystals and the flowers take so long, and if I was quiet, it wouldn't have taken so long. But y'all know I talk your heads off because it really ain't nothing else to do. What time is it? Yeah, it's 3:23 over here on the West Coast. So I knew this. Well, I didn't think it was going to take this long because I really wasn't going to do all this stuff that I'm doing. I wasn't going to do this many crystals. I wasn't going to do any crystals at all. And I only was going to do like 2 nails with 3D art. And I wasn't even going to fill the nails up with 3D art. But you guys can reference back to this video. And you guys can watch my process. And hopefully you guys have a good 3D brush. And you can kind of like follow along and do the same thing and get the hang of 3D acrylic. It's not, I'm not going to say it's not hard, because it is a little difficult when you first start, especially if you really don't understand acrylic manipulation, which I did not understand when I first started doing nails. So it took me a long time to get a hang of 3D acrylic. It wasn't easy, but then the more that you do it and the more that you practice, I mean, I know that's cliche, but that's really what it is. All you got to do is practice. All you have to do is practice. It is not rocket science. And that's with anything in the nail world. Just do some practice. And I tell my students, like, girl, if you could do 30 minutes a day of some nails, that's practice. You don't have to sit there for no 8 hours. Like, get some type of, you know, nail work in, I guess. Get some practical in. No, you're definitely right, Lila. Lila was saying that that strong foul language does cause trauma for kids. Now, you're absolutely right. I'm not making excuses, but I'm not like, one, I don't raise my voice at my kids. I don't raise my voice at anybody. I'm just not that. But I also, like, I feel like if it's in the Bible, it's not that terrible of a bad word. So I can say hell, ass, and damn. I don't F words. I don't F bombs around my kids. And, I don't know, like you said, strong foul language. I don't feel like my language is strong foul language, but I definitely speak foul. I don't cuss like a sailor. I don't think I cuss like a sailor. Probably as many cuss words as y'all heard me say in this this live. Like, this is how I talk. But again, I want my kids to know who I am, and I don't want to have to modify the things that make me to coddle my kids, if that makes sense. Like, I have lived in a home, I've spent time in a home where they didn't cuss, and they felt like because they didn't cuss, their kids weren't going to cuss. But now those are the most cussing kids that I know, because once they hit the streets and they heard the cussing, it was like, oh, we don't do this at my house. And it was just like free for all, and you know, they were underexposed. And so, not saying that, oh, I'm about to expose my kids to a whole bunch of foul language so that they could be ready for the world. I don't agree with that. However, I just don't feel like I'm about to stop cussing. No, I'm just not. It's a part of my language, and it's honestly a part of our culture. And I get that some households are the way they are. My husband used to be that way. Like, when my son was first born, he would not, like, me cussing was bad. We used to fight. But But then over time, it was kind of like, listen, honestly, he say worse words than me. And so sometimes I have to check him. Like, babe, don't F-bomb the kids. Or, calm down because you're getting upset. And now, now your language is not what it should be. And you be on me. So now I got to get on you. But definitely, I mean, we all raise our kids differently. And I feel like, just for me personally, I don't want to censor myself in front of my kids. Now, I'm not about to sit here and like, I don't watch porn or anything, but like, I'm not about to watch porn in front of my kids, be like, oh, well, this is just me. This is how I am. You need to know who your mom is. Like, no, it's always going to be age appropriate. But I'm sorry. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop cussing. I'm not. I know I'm not. And I'm not going to lie and act like I am. And like, ass is always going to be a part of my vocabulary, and hell and shit. Like, those are going to be a part of my vocabulary. Now, I'm not cussing my kids out. That's what I don't do. But yeah, my kids are going to hear some foul language from me at times because that's part of mommy's vocabulary, unfortunately. But I don't think that anybody should be cussing their kids out. I've actually ended friendships because of that. And I know that sounds bad, but my whole thing is like, I can't tell nobody how to raise their kids, right? Like, I don't care if you're my best friend, if you're my sister, you're my homie. I can't tell you how to raise your children. That would be wrong. However, from my own experience, I will not sit there and watch you abuse your kids. I will not do it. Now, I may not speak up, because I just have a hard time doing that. I may not speak up and tell you, like, girl, you dead ass wrong. I may not speak up and tell you that, but I will dismiss myself from your life and your children's life, because I will never be the person that your kids be like, yeah, when they're older and they're in therapy, I don't ever want your kids to look at me like, yeah, you was my mama's best friend and you watched her abuse me. And you enabled her, or you thought that it was okay, and you never checked my mom, and you were her best friend, and you should have saved me because you knew my mom was acting foul, or whatever the case may be. And so I would never sit around and be the person that enables my friend to continue abusing their child or not speak up. Like, either I'm going to speak up or I'm going to dismiss myself. And 9 times out of 10, I dismiss myself. Simply because it's just like, I just don't have it in me to tell somebody how to raise their kid. I don't have it in me to tell somebody like, oh, girl, you dead ass wrong. Don't talk to your babies like that. Like, I know that maybe like I should grow some balls and say that. But at the end of the day, like I said, like, how can you tell a woman how to raise her child? How can you tell a woman that she's wrong when it comes to her kids? So I don't want nobody telling me nothing about my kids. So it's kind of like, I actually had this conversation with my dad recently, because he was like trying to figure out why I don't talk to my mom's best friend anymore. And I was like, well, honestly, she's part of the problem. She ain't never did nothing to me, and she's sweet as pie, and I love her so much for loving my children, and she was a great auntie. But at the end of the day, I had to dismiss myself from her life as well, because you're my mom's best friend, and you watch her do the things that she does to me, and you don't say nothing, you don't check her, and you still are friends with her. And how can you be friends with somebody who treats their children like that? So so I mean, I don't blame her for my mom's actions, but I do feel like she's like complicit in the abuse, because you sit there and you watch it happen and you don't check your best friend. As a best friend, you should be able to check your friend. And if you don't check your friend, then dismiss yourself, so that your friend's kids aren't looking at you like, dang, why you watching her do me like this? And it's the same thing with my aunties. Like, you guys sit there and kiki and ha when I'm being cussed out, or when Facebook statuses are being made about me, and y'all sitting there commenting and doing all this other stuff. And it's like, you guys are just enabling the abuse. And so that makes you just as guilty of a party. And so as a friend, I don't enable my friends to abuse their kids. And when I feel like they're doing wrong by their kids, I just simply dismiss myself. I have to. I don't know how to tell a woman that she's wrong when it comes to her babies. I just don't know how, and I don't wish to know how. I just dismiss myself, because I really don't want to be friends with somebody cussing their kids out. I don't want to be friends with somebody who is abusing their kids, because I get triggered. So, like, I stopped being friends with somebody because her daughter was too fast. And I know that sounds bad. I know that sounds bad. But her daughter was just like, and I knew that it wasn't her daughter's fault. I knew that it was a direct result of how she was treating her child. And I just didn't have it in me to say, like, friend, you're wrong. You don't do no little girl like that. You don't take no little girl here. You don't let no little girl watch this. You don't let no little girl do this, this, and this. But she took a lot of pride in her daughter being older in her mind than she was in her body. And I didn't agree with that. So I had to dismiss myself. And it sucks because, like, I love the little girl and I love the friend. But at the end of the day, I had to dismiss myself because your child is on something different than the way that I raise my kids, and that could mess up my children's upbringing and just being exposed to that. Like, I'm just not okay with overexposure with certain things. But how do I tell my friend that, girl, you are overexposing that baby, and that's why she acting like that? But I just dismiss myself because when that little girl is in therapy in 15 years, she don't need to be pointing at Auntie Mickey like, yeah, Auntie Mickey just watched her do me like that and nobody checked her. Nah, that's not going to be me. So, unfortunately, I had to leave a friendship that I really, really cherished because I felt like her daughter was being disserviced by her, and I tried to give advice, but it wasn't being heard, and then I didn't want to sound like I was condemning her, so I just dismissed myself. And then it sucks because, like, you know, I don't know, my husband was like, you need to talk to your friend. Like, if that's your best friend, you need to tell her. And I'm like, yeah, how do I say that to somebody? So, yeah. No, I'm not a Virgo, I'm an Aries, but I'm a Cancer moon, so I'm just always really, I'm not gonna say really sad, but I'm always really, like, emotional, and I have, like, a very, very tumultuous inner world. Like, I'm very strong on the outside, but I'm a very gummy bear on the inside, so I do a lot of overthinking, and, like, I'm very just emotional, and I don't let my emotions run me. That Aries part doesn't allow it. But the Aries part of me keeps me rational, and, like, you know, it's like having a husband. Like, women are just, we're kind of rational and emotional, and then men are just logical, and so that's where the balance comes in. Women kind of think with their hearts, and men think with their heads. So that's balance in a marriage. So in my world, inside of me, I'm very emotional, but on the outside, I'm very straightforward and logical and rational. I try to be, at least. And my daughter's a Cancer moon, but she's a Capricorn, and so I identify with her a lot because she's got this bossy, snappy nature about her that gets things done. But that Cancer moon, she has a very tumultuous, emotional inner world that she doesn't expose to everybody. And so it's the same for me. So I kind of, like, recognize that in her, and I try to help her navigate that inner world because nobody helped me do it. And then my son is an Aries like I am, and he is mean. He is my mean baby. So but I honestly, I resonate with him the most. Like, it'd be stuff that, like, his dad just don't understand. His daddy don't get it. His dad's a Libra, so the complete opposite sign of an Aries. So, like, his daddy just don't be getting certain things and understanding certain ways that he acts, and then I see it because it used to be me. So, yeah. So I have 2 daughters. My daughters are both Capricorns, and my son is an Aries. I'm an Aries, and then my husband's a Libra. But my husband's mom is an Aries, so my son's mom and grandma, so me, my son, and his grandmother, we're all Aries. And then both of my biological parents are Libras. My mom is a Libra, and my biological father is a Libra. And so I guess that's why I married a Libra. I don't know. But my daughter's father is also a Libra. So, yeah, it's like, I guess I need that balance in my life. But yeah, I got that Aries in me. Is really, really, it's feisty. And my next child, her children, I'm absolutely sure will be Virgos. So I love Virgos. I don't know. I love Virgos. I've never had a bad experience with a Virgo, but I hear the worst stories about Virgos. When I think of Virgos, I think of Beyonce. So when I think of Beyonce, I think of like perfectionism and like this has to be done right and has to be done the right way. And if I got to get it done, I'm going to get it done because it's going to get done right. That's what I think of when I think of a Virgo. Like they want to get it done and they want to get it done the right way. And they don't care how long it takes. They don't care how hard it is. That's the, and then for Virgo men, they're very, they're always the glue to their families or the glue to their like friend group. And Virgos are really good at long-term relationships, like really, really good at long-term relationships. So like, I don't know. I like Virgos. I've never had an issue with Virgos, but I see people shit on Virgos all day, but then people shit on Aries all day and we don't care. Anyway, y'all like my nails? Oh, what? Shay, you think Virgos are controlling? Okay, you know what? I think that they are too. I think that's the perfectionism in them though. Like they have to control the scene because if they don't control the scene, it may not get done right. Like think of Beyonce. Beyonce don't let her dancers leave for like 72 hours because if y'all ain't getting the dance right, y'all don't get to go home. But it's Beyonce. Like, of course you got to practice like that. Of course you got to control the room like that because it's really your name attached to it. And so I don't know. I like Virgos. I really do. I'm not a controlling person, but I've been around a lot of controlling people. And what I will say is that the Virgos that I've been around were less controlling than any of the other signs that I've been around. Like Libras are controlling to me. Libras are very controlling to me because I feel like if y'all don't have control, then you kind of like dismiss yourself or you get like angry type of deal. And like it's easy for a Libra to have control issues. It doesn't mean that you always have control issues, but y'all be so desperate for balance that you have to like insert yourself in everybody's shit so that you can balance it out. And then people don't like that because y'all don't be balanced yourselves. So people be kind of offended, like, why are you all up in my stuff? But then the cool thing about a Libra, though, is y'all can solve anybody's problem. Y'all can't solve your own problems, but y'all can solve anybody else's problems because of just your balance. And I think that's super cool. But yeah, and then Aries, are we controlling? I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with Aries. I know that we're judgmental. We're very judgy. I try not to be that way. I try not to be judgmental. My son is, he's very brash. He's very, blunt. My Aries son, he's going to say what he feels, when he feels it, how he feels it. He has no filter. And, I don't think I used to be that way. You know, girls and boys are different when it comes to the zodiac signs. But yeah, so I'm not sure. Do y'all think Aries are controlling? I hope I'm not controlling. I don't try to be controlling. I actually enjoy other people taking the reins and then kind of, as long as I have freedom. I think that's an Aries biggest thing is we need freedom more than anything. We don't like to be bored. We don't like to be tied down. Not like, you know, in relationships, like we don't mind relationships at all because we're loyal. Well, I don't know if the men are loyal. I don't know if the men are loyal, but I know that the women are. The women are very loyal. Another loyal sign of men is Taurus. Tauruses are loyal men. I think that's the only sign of men that I could say that like you guys are loyal. Sagittarius are not loyal, but they're honest. So if they're like not being loyal, they will tell you about it. Like they'll let you know. Like yeah, like I'm doing my own type of thing. So like I can respect a Sagittarius man because he can tell you what's going on, even if you don't like it. They be unapologetically telling the truth. And then, like I steer clear of Aquarius. My daddy's an Aquarius. But what I love about Aquarius is their leadership qualities. Ugh, that's amazing. The way an Aquarius can command a room, that's dope. I'm terrified of Pisces, I'm terrified of them. My grandma's a Pisces. I love her so much, but maybe because I'm an Aries, I just don't get along with them because they're very, very sappy and emotional. And sometimes I feel like they're fake because they're people pleasers, so they love to make people happy. And so a lot of times, because they love to make people happy, they kind of play both sides of the fence. But that's just my experience with them. And but they're the friendliest people I know. I've never met anybody friendlier than a Pisces. And I don't know too many Aries. I've only dated one, and that was one of the worst dating lives that I ever had. Like I said, Tauruses are loyal, but they're boring. Jesus, they're boring. Geminis, I don't like Gemini men because they need an audience. They love having groupies. They love groupies. Now, they will choose you and choose you only, but they just love groupies. And then the women are kind of mean. But I love Gemini women. I love them because they're so honest and they're like brash and they like... But they're sweet though. They make really good managers. They make really good like if you want something done, like, and you don't want to do the hard work, and you like the hard like social work, like talking to people crazy and stuff, you hire a Gemini woman because she gonna get the job done. But with her friends and her family, she's sweet as pie and she's super helpful, but she gets stressed out really easily. That's a Gemini woman. I love Gemini. I get along well with Gemini women. The only women I don't get along with are Scorpio women. We actually get along as soon as we meet. We're great matches as soon as we meet, but it always ends badly. I don't know what it is about Scorpios. I love y'all, but I don't know why I can't be friends with y'all long term. I don't know. It's crazy, but I've been best friends with a Scorpio so many times, and then it just ends badly every time. I don't know. I have a lot of experience with the zodiacs. I try to kind of like just watch astrology and just kind of see the way people are similar. But, your moon sign plays a part. Your rising sign plays a part. But, yeah, I'm going to go. My husband just came out the room and he told me to be quiet. So I'm going to turn on a movie and I'm going to turn my gospel music back on. Oh, Leos. I can't stand Leos. I don't know any Leo women, though. Do I know any Leo women? Let me think. Leo is at the end of July, beginning of August. I do not know any Leo women. Oh, but I can't stand a Leo man. Oh, my goodness. The one Leo man that I dated one Leo man, and it was so bad that our very first date, we were in the car arguing before we even pulled out of my apartment complex. We sat there arguing in the car. I don't know about what. I have no idea what we were arguing about, but we were arguing in the car. And it's our first date, y'all, our very first date. And we argued for so long that by the time we were done arguing, it was all the restaurants were closed. So we had to go to Waffle House. Now, it was a really good meal because he ordered for me. But I don't enjoy Leos. I don't like boasting. The males, at least. I cannot stand that boasting. I cannot stand the flamboyant, everybody look at me. I can't. Like, we kept going on dates. I don't know why I kept going on dates with this man. But we kept going on dates. And, like, I remember one time he showed up in this bright-ass, flashy outfit. And I'm like, oh, my goodness. Why do you have so many colors on right now? You have so many colors on. And it was just like, you really want to be seen by everybody. And he was just somebody who hyped up everything that he did. He made himself seem like Jesus all the time. And it was like, bro, you're not that cool. And then, like, I have a family member who is a Leo rising and a Leo moon. And all he do is lie and over-exaggerate his accomplishments. And it's like, I know you in real life. Stop doing that. But it's like, they just big themselves up so big, and it's uncomfortable for me. I don't know. I'm sorry. Like, I'm an Aries, so I'm not compatible with anybody. If you like look that up, Aries, especially Aries women, we don't have too many people that we're actually compatible with. But I guess we can. Jerry said it's the corny ego for me. Yeah, I am not okay with Leos. I feel like it is a big, huge ego for what though? Because you're really not popping like you say you are. I don't know. That's mean. But yeah, no, I'm not big on Leos. I can't stand me a Leo man. But I do not know any Leo women, and it could be the complete opposite. Because I love Gemini women, but I can't stand a Gemini man. And I love Aquarius women, but Aquarius men scare me because they will do anything for power. Anything for power. So that's scary to me. But like that, my dad is an Aquarius. And so the cool thing about my dad is that like, I get so much great advice from him. So much beautiful, beautiful advice from him. But it's so funny because he don't live it. He doesn't live it, but he can lead the hell out of somebody, but like live his actual like practice what he preached. Nah, he don't. That ain't my dad. That is not my pop. Be kind of scared of Aquariuses. But I love Aquarius women. I get along great with Aquarius women. I love just how boss they are. They're so boss, like not bossy like a Capricorn, but they're boss. Like they gonna have the Aquarius woman. She gonna have her own something. She gonna have her own business. She gonna have her own whatever. She can have a whole husband. She gonna have a whole another house on the side. But like I love the way Aquarius women move because they're so independent and they're just like I don't need nobody and I'm gonna stick out. So that's why I like Aquarius women. But there are some signs that I just don't have a lot of experience with. And so I don't really say much. But like, because it's like, if I only had a bad experience with one of y'all, then I can't really say that's a bad experience with all of you guys. I can't just lump y'all all into the same category. But for the most part, I think I've kind of dealt with almost everybody. And yeah, I got my I'm not a people person. I'm not good with people. I have people skills. I got really good people skills, but I don't like people. I know that sounds weird. I like animals and I like babies, but I don't like people. I just don't get how people think. But that's why I do a lot of studying, because I try to like see how people operate, and I try to recognize the humanity in others, and just recognize everybody's not perfect and everybody is out for survival and self-preservation. And I have to accept that a lot of people come into your life because they have motives for their own journeys, and duh, that's everybody. So I know that it's difficult to find genuine people in the world, and then I think that my biggest issue is that I just expect people to have the same heart as me, and they always let me down. And I've never in my life met anybody as loyal as I am. So I feel like I get let down a lot because the way that I'm loyal, I always be hoping it's reciprocated, and it never is. But my sense of loyalty that I have though is different. It's really from God. It's really not something that I choose to be. It's really just, I don't know, it's different. So I haven't experienced it with anybody. So because I haven't experienced it, I'm starting to learn like how to deal with people without getting so disappointed about them just being human. So that's my own healing that I gotta kind of figure out. Leela don't like Aquarius women. Why not? All right, y'all. This is how I'm sure this is an AI picture, guys. But yeah, I think I'm pretty sure this is an AI picture, but this is the inspiration behind my nails. But I'm gonna really get off. I'm gonna really get off this because I just been talking, and I'm acting like I ain't got no friends. But but I love you guys, and I appreciate y'all for spending the night with me and watching and engaging, because y'all don't ever be talking to me for real. And And if I missed any comments, I'll go back and I'll comment back to you. I apologize. Sometimes I get so caught up in working and talking that I miss a lot of comments. But I truly enjoyed you guys tonight. I thank you guys. I hope that you enjoyed my nails. I'm not a fan of the green, y'all, but I'm gonna keep them on. And yeah. Lou said cabbage leaves, stop. Don't do Rihanna like that. But yeah, so I love you guys and I appreciate y'all for watching, and I hope that you guys will refer back to this live if you ever want to see damn near 4 hours worth of 3D acrylic and crystal application or whatever. And then you know, we had some real talk. Like I said, I have to kind of give the whole mom spiel and C-tone spiel every single time I go live, because like I said, there's a lot of people who don't know that I have separated from C-tones, and so I kind of have to explain myself all the time because people still ask me about C-tones and I'm not associated with them at all. So it's kind of weird. I know it's weird for y'all, and it's so funny because I had somebody recently say on my live, I think like either on my live or on my status, but she was like, "You're not with C-tones anymore? I order from them faithfully every month." And I'm like, girl, keep ordering. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't want to see them people starve. I like C-tones, it's still my baby, and at the end of the day, like I just had to learn that like I don't have to, like I don't, like my baby doesn't have to die because I'm walking away from it. Like C-tones didn't have to die because I walked away. Like there are still people who love, you know, the product and the way it goes. And I know how my mom is. I know that like the people who are still ordering from her, I know y'all still getting free gifts. I know y'all still getting taken care of, because that's just how my mama is with business. So like I said, if you got C-bucks, spend them because that's free money. And if you have if you got like a favorite color or whatever that you want to get from C-tones, definitely I will never be offended. Never in a million years. How can I be offended that y'all using C-tones when I still use it? So yeah, but I do hope that you guys have a beautiful, beautiful day. It's Wednesday now, and I hope that it's fruitful. And you know, I always pray blessings over everybody's life, and I always say bless you at the end because I really hope that you guys have a blessed day. So I love you guys, and I appreciate y'all for listening and staying tuned and kind of seeing my work and whatever. And then I'm going to be posting these pictures of the other Met Gala nails that I did, and then I'll probably do like another Met Gala set on myself. And my baby girl needs her nails done, so I need to do her nails because she's a nail biter like I am. And so the only thing that stops me from biting my nails is acrylic, so I got to put some acrylic on my baby. So yeah. I love you guys, and I hope that you guys have a beautiful, beautiful day. God bless you. Thank you for spending the night with me, you horse. I will see you guys later, okay?